female college student Jiang Yinyan. Due to her excessive fondness for the unloved male supporting character in the book, Ing Li, who had a tragic ending. With a strong obsession, she transmigrated into the book as the male supporting character's personal maid. Facing the pitiful young boy who had not yet become a Yandere, Jiang Yinyan unleashed her motherly nature, showering him with love. But in the end, she still raised the male supporting character wrong. Jiang Yinyan looked at the latest chapter of the novel. Ing Li wore that red robe, with black hair and red eyes, looking exceptionally handsome. He solemnly took Tang Muru's hand and said devoutly, "Murong, thank you for agreeing to marry me." Tang Muru, also wearing a red wedding dress, had a gloomy look in her eyes. She directly stabbed a dagger into Ing Li's chest. Ing Li's eyes widened, unable to believe what was happening. Tang Muru pulled out the dagger and spoke in the gentlest tone, saying heartbreaking words, "Ing Li, I'm sorry, but you've done too much evil, taken too many lives. You're no longer that pitiful person from years ago. For the sake of all living beings, you must die." The group of suitors behind her said, "Murong, why should you dirty your hands? Let us kill him. Such a demon will only taint your hands." Ing Li clutched his chest, looking at her with extreme tenderness. He understood. He had never truly entered her heart. "Murong, I don't blame you." Jiang Yinyan, reading to this point, was absolutely furious. In this novel she was reading, Ing Li's life was a series of endless tragedies. What kind of terrible plot did the author write? 7 men fighting over 1 woman. Why did they have to drag my innocent Ing Li into it? Who wouldn't say the author is heartless after reading this? She immediately started typing away in the comment section. Ing Li is as elegant as orchids and jade trees, gentle and kind. He started cultivating at 3, built his foundation at 5. Anyone who saw him would praise him as a genius. He was clearly heaven's chosen one. Yet due to some unfounded karmic calamity, he fell from grace, was despised by others, and even killed by the person he loved. He had all the makings of a main character, but ended up with a cannon fodder's fate. Where is the justice in this? In short, Ing Li is the best. In my heart, he is the true main character. Just as she clicked send, thunder and lightning struck with a loud bang. System, congratulations, host. Felicitations, host. You have successfully activated the sickly male supporting character rescue system. When Jiang Yinyan woke up again, she asked where she was. The system said, "In 10 seconds, the host will transmigrate into the book. I rely on my beauty to dominate the cultivation world." As the evil made by the male supporting character, Ing Li's side. Jiang Yinyan was confused. What? Ing Li is my precious baby Ing Li? But why am I so unlucky to become the evil maid? The system continued. That's right. At this time, Ing Li is only 8 years old. Because he was calculated to have an evil fate, his father Ing Ruxu destroyed his spiritual root and abandoned him in a remote bamboo courtyard, lonely and helpless. Additionally, Taoist priests from the sect perform a bloodletting ritual on Ing Li once a month, supposedly to ward off disasters. After the bloodletting, Ing Ruxu sends people to give Ing Li spiritual pills and medicines to barely maintain his life. Jiang Yinyan could hardly believe it. Then what can I do for my baby? The system said, "Host, don't worry. I'll start issuing tasks now. Save the male supporting character, Ing Li, increases affection for you, and earn points. Points can be exchanged for items to help you increase your combat power." Jiang Yinyan silently vowed, "I definitely won't let Ing Li end up with that tragic fate from the book. With me here, no one will be able to harm him even a bit. Now, please prepare for transmigration. 3, 2, 1. Congratulations, host, transmigration successful. The system's new user gift of 500 points has been credited. Please check." Jiang Yinyan found herself holding a broom, standing in the courtyard. She immediately looked around. "Where's my baby? Where is he now?" Suddenly, she heard a voice from behind. "Beat him hard until he hands over the box. Stop being stubborn and give us the box. If you don't, see if we don't beat you to death." Ninian turned around and saw her baby being beaten by a group of people. She angrily rushed over. "Stop it right now." She pushed him away directly. "What are you doing?" Like a mother hen protecting her chick, she stood in front of him, bullying the weak with numbers. "Is this how you righteous cultivators behave? Tisk meddling in others' affairs. He's just a useless person without a spirit root. He doesn't deserve these fine spiritual pills. It'd be wasted on him anyway. they said disdainfully. We've got what we came for anyway. Let's go. Ninian looked at the group. Those were the life-saving pills for her baby. She couldn't let them take them away. She shouted angrily, "Stop! Give that back to him!" She threw out a lightning talisman, her heart bleeding. The items in the system were so expensive. 1 lightning talisman and 25 blank talisman papers used up all her points. The group was blasted apart by the lightning talisman. Shifan was shocked. This woman actually had a lightning talisman. Only those at the transformation stage could draw these. Nian used the talisman papers to intimidate them, saying, "If you're smart, leave the things and scram. Otherwise, these dozens of lightning talismans will ensure you don't leave alive." Frightened, they dropped the box and fled in panic. She only had enough points for 1 lightning talisman. Luckily, she bluffed them with blank papers. Good thing they didn't persist, or she'd have been in trouble. She picked up the box from the ground. Wanting to help Ingli up, she said, "Young master, let me take you to treat your injuries." Ingli swatted away Nian's hand. "You didn't treat me like this before. Why pretend to be kind now?" He snatched the box and shakily stood up. His legs gave way and he fell, scattering the pills from the box all over the ground. Nian was startled. "Young master, are you all right?" Ingli looked at the pills on the ground and started stuffing them into his mouth. Seeing this, Nian grabbed his hand and said gently, "Young master, be good and spit them out, okay? They're dirty now. We shouldn't eat them." Ingli pulled his hand away and said, "You don't understand." Nian felt heartbroken seeing Ingli like this. How could she not understand? He was once a brilliant cultivation prodigy, but overnight he became a pariah, condemned by all. With his spirit root destroyed, his foundation was damaged, leaving him with only a sickly body, imprisoned in this dilapidated bamboo courtyard. She wanted to hug this poor child, but Ingli dodged her. "Don't come near me. I don't need your fake kindness. Don't be nice to me from the start. I don't need it. What kind of child is this? Such a bad temper. Really unlikable." Nian spoke as she picked him up, but then froze. He was too light, unnaturally light. Ingli was stunned, then started struggling violently. "How dare you? I told you not to touch me. Get lost." Nian said irritably, "I won't. If you don't behave, I'll spank you." As she said this, she lightly patted him. Ingli looked up at her, his eyes complex. Did spanking anger the child? Suddenly, a system prompt appeared. Target's favorability, -1. Favorability, -45. -46. Nian was thunderstruck. How could the favorability be negative? And it kept decreasing. How could she gain Ingli's favor? Just because the female lead was dissatisfied with how the author wrote her beloved Ingli too tragically, she was bound by the system and transmigrated into the book, becoming the male lead's evil maid. As soon as she arrived, she saw Ingli being bullied. Through a mix of intimidation and bluffing, she scared away those bullying Ingli. Because in the original story, she was the evil maid, Ingli was very wary of Nian. Nian looked at Ingli. "My baby's favorability towards me is so negative. I need to find a way to improve it. I can't let him be so guarded against me." She felt like crying. It was the original character who mistreated the baby. Why did she have to bear this burden? She spoke up. "Young master, let me help clean you up first, then apply medicine to your wounds. This way you'll heal faster." Ingli's voice was a bit hoarse. "If it's out of pity, there's no need." Nian sat down, took Ingli's hand, and started wiping it, her eyes full of concern. "It's not pity. I just feel it's unfair to young master. Our young master is so cute. Why does he have to suffer so much? Heaven is too unfair. But don't be afraid, young master. I'll be good to you." Nian was smiling, but her eyes were already moist. Ingli looked at her expression and said confusedly, "You weren't like this before." I was indeed too much before. But from now on, I'll always be by young master's side, taking good care of you. What do you want from me?" Ingli's tightly clenched fists revealed his current unease. "Being so nice to me. What do you want to take from me? I have nothing left." Nian gently wiped Ingli's face. "I want young master to be happy every day. Does that count?" She then pinched his cheek, which had little flesh. "Come on, young master. Smile." Ingli swatted her hand away. How impertinent! But his face was already red. Nian finished bandaging his wounds. She even tied a pretty bow. Then she said, "Young master, I'll go out to tidy up a bit. I'll be back soon." Ah, it seems the baby is still very wary of me. Suddenly, the system cheerfully announced, "Congratulations, host. Target's favorability plus 10. 100 points. Current favorability minus 36. The favorability had increased so much. Ninian chuckled secretly, looking at Ing Li's red ears. He's really just a baby. Ninian returned to her room to pack. The baby is covered in wounds. It's inconvenient for him to do anything alone. For this period, I'll move in to live with him. This way I can take care of him better." At this moment, a flamboyantly dressed woman appeared at the door. "Zhang Ninian, where are you going in the middle of the night? Packing your things?" Ninian was confused. "Who are you?" "Zhang Ninian, why are you playing dumb?" "I'm Lu Yueme." Lu Yueme. Ninian remembered. The author had written extensively about Lu Yueme's character in the book. She was a spy sent by the demon clan to monitor the baby. She often tormented and beat the baby, and in the year the baby turned 15, she took his virginity. It was because of this incident that the baby's heart began to twist, and his personality became gloomy. Seeing Ninian not speaking, Lu Yueme thought she was feeling guilty. Finally realized and decided to pack up and run away from that useless boy. Ninian's tone was a bit hostile. "How long are you going to hide your demon identity? Every minute this menace stays is dangerous for the baby. I'd better act first. Drive her away. I'll protect the baby's innocence." Lu Yueme saw through this. "Since you already know my identity, don't blame me for being impolite." Demonic energy directly attacked towards Ninian. Ninian quickly called out to the system, "Dear, it's a crisis moment. Can I use 100 points to exchange for an ultimate rebound talisman?" The ultimate rebound talisman reflects the opponent's attack back at them. "Oh, exchange, hurry." Ninian was crying inside. "Whoa, the points I just earned are gone again." With a loud bang, Lu Yueme was struck by her own attack and fell to the ground. She spat out a mouthful of blood, turned her head, and looked at Ninian viciously. "You just wait." As soon as she finished speaking, she turned into a wisp of black smoke and disappeared instantly. TSK. She fled quite fast. "And what's this?" It was a smiling jade Buddha. I remember this was left to the baby by his mother. The baby cherished it greatly, taking it out to look at every night before sleep. I didn't expect Lu Yueme to have stolen it. I must return it quickly, otherwise the baby will be worried. Meanwhile, Ingli sat on the bed. An instant sticks time had passed, and that woman still hadn't returned. As expected, she was lying to me again, saying she'd always be with me. She couldn't even keep up the act for a moment. In this world, the only thing that can always be with me is the jade pendant left by Mother. Ingli reached under the pillow. His expression suddenly changed. It was gone. He frantically searched around. I always kept the jade pendant under my pillow. How could it suddenly disappear? Ninian's image flashed in Ing Li's mind. It must be her. She's the only one who came in here. He pounded the ground hard. I should have known. That woman indeed had ill intentions. I'll kill her. Kill them all. At this moment, Ninian came over. "Young master, sorry to keep you waiting. I went to my room to pack some things. It took a bit of time." Ing Li, with red eyes, said indifferently, "Since you've gotten what you wanted, why bother with this pretense?" System warning. Target's emotional fluctuation is too high. What should Ninian do? The female lead, dissatisfied with the author for writing her Ing Li so miserably, transmigrated into the story and became the male lead's evil maid. It was clearly the original character's fault, yet the female lead had to bear it. She wanted to be extra good to him from now on, so Ing Li would no longer be wary of her. Ing Li's jade pendant was stolen by the demon clan. The female lead wanted to return it quickly. As soon as she entered the room, the system warned that the target's emotions were fluctuating greatly. Ninian was confused. Is the baby angry? But he was fine when I left earlier. Then she remembered, "Oh right, young master. Lu Yueme stole your jade Buddha. I helped you get it back and drove her away." She said with some concern, "Young master, are you upset that I acted on my own?" Ing Li was stunned. He looked at the recovered smiling jade Buddha in his hand, feeling a mix of emotions. He had misunderstood her. He looked at Ninian with a complex gaze. He had always known that the maid stole things from his room, but he always pretended not to see. Because he knew that with his spiritual roots destroyed, he couldn't even beat a sweeping monk in the sect. Similarly, he also knew that in this vast sect, no one would stand up for him. But now, this woman had cheerfully helped him seek justice. At this moment, the system prompted, favorability plus 30, points plus 300. Current favorability, minus 6. Total points, 300. Ninian looked at Li. It seems everything is fine now, right? Ninian suggested, young master, you're injured. It's not convenient for you to live alone. I've already packed my things and brought them over. Let's sleep together tonight. Li looked at her expressionlessly. What do you think? 10 minutes later, Li looked at Ninian sleeping soundly beside him, feeling utterly helpless. He must have been out of his mind earlier to agree to let her sleep with him under her expectant gaze. The simple bamboo hut could hardly keep out the cold. The bamboo door creaked in the wind. It was so cold that even his wounds started to hurt. He started coughing uncomfortably. Ninian heard the sound. Young master, can't sleep? Li didn't like such intimate touching. He said directly, it's nothing. Just sleep. Ninian heard the baby's voice was so hoarse. Could he have caught a cold? She reached out to touch Li's forehead. So hot. She suddenly sat up. System, are you there? The baby is sick. Do you have any medicine for the cold? I'm here, host. You can exchange 300 points for flower dew. One bottle will take effect immediately. Ninian didn't hesitate. Exchange one bottle right away. The system reminded, host, flower dew costs 300 points. It's very expensive. After the exchange, your points will become 0. Stop nagging. The baby is about to burn up. Young master, be good and drink the medicine. You'll get better. Li seemed delirious with fever. He gulped it down. Ninian felt his forehead. The heat seemed to have subsided quite a bit. Ninian gently embraced him. Sweet dreams, everyone. Li had a dream. He dreamed of those few months after his spiritual roots were destroyed. He was thrown like garbage into a dilapidated room. Senior brothers, please let me out. I know I was wrong. The guards outside were very impatient. So annoying, shouting like this every day. Doesn't he get tired? This disaster star who killed his own mother still wants to go out and harm others. The sect leader destroying his spiritual roots and locking him here is already merciful. Come on, let's not guard here anymore. It's really unlucky. You're right. I don't want to be killed by his bad luck either. Little Li heard their conversation and cried endlessly. I didn't mean to harm mother. Father, I know I was wrong. Suddenly, a sinister laugh rang out. Li was very scared. Who's laughing? You, this disaster star. A useless person without spiritual roots, yet still wanting to go out. It's all because of you. Your mother died because of you. Disaster star, disaster star. The malicious words echoed. Li was about to break down. No, it's not me. It's not me. Suddenly, a voice called Lear. It was Li's mother's voice. At the end of the dream was his mother, bleeding from 7 orifices. Her face, unable to close her eyes in death, struggled to sit up. He quickly woke up. Everything just now was a dream. At this time, Ninian's voice came. Young master. You're awake, young master. How did you sleep last night? Are you feeling unwell anywhere? Ninian rubbed his head. He answered somewhat uncomfortably. No, since being confined here, it's been so long since I've slept so soundly. Hearing him say this, Ninian said, that's good. Young master must be hungry. I'll go find something for you to eat. Li lightly tugged on Ninian's sleeve. Ninian turned back. Does young master have any other instructions? Li was also a bit embarrassed. What was he doing? The female protagonist transmigrated into the story as the male lead's maid. Through her unremitting efforts, the male lead's favorability towards her finally improved. In the cold midnight wind, Li fell ill. Ninian spent all her points to exchange for cold medicine. The next morning, seeing he had recovered well, she felt relieved and went to prepare breakfast for him. Young master, wait here obediently for me to return. Li watched her departing figure, his heart unexpectedly skipping a beat. Ninian arrived at the kitchen. The tray only had hard steam buns. The baby is already physically weak, and he drinks porridge and eats these buns every day. No wonder he's thinner than other children his age. A maid said indifferently. What else? His broken courtyard can't even afford a single snack. Where would meat and fish come from? Having this is already good. If there's nothing else, I'll be going. Ninian saw he was in a hurry and said directly, what's so urgent? The maid was surprised. How can you not know this? Tomorrow is our young master Rimulai's birthday. It's a grand celebration. The sect leader said that everyone who attends tomorrow will receive a red envelope with 500 spirit stones. 500 spirit stones. I need to go down the mountain today to buy some nice clothes for the birthday party. Ninian exclaimed happily. The sect leader has had a change of heart and wants to celebrate our young master's birthday. The maid impatiently said, "What our young master? It's for young Master Ian. Although they were born on the same day, one is a dragon in the sky, the other is mud on the ground. Don't confuse their status." Nyan directly raised her hand and slapped her. The maid covered her face and looked at Nyan angrily. "What are you doing?" "Hitting you," Nyan scolded. "As a servant, casually discussing the master's affairs. Don't you deserve to be hit? Although our young master is living poorly now, in the future, he will definitely become a great figure in the cultivation world, respected by thousands. I won't allow you to slander him here. You're completely unreasonable." The maid threw down these words and hurried away. Nyan looked at the steamed buns on the plate with some worry. "Sigh, it seems I can only give the baby these for now. I don't remember where I put the snacks. It looks like I'll have to wait until next month's salary to buy food." Suddenly, Nyan had an idea. "Right, there should be spirit beasts on this mountain. I can go catch some spirit chickens and ducks to improve the baby's diet." Nyan didn't notice that Ainley was standing at the door, looking at her with a complex expression for a long time. Then he quietly left. Nyan brought the steamed buns into the room. "Young master, it's time for breakfast." Ainley sat on the bed without saying a word. Seeing him like this, Nyan knew he must be upset again. She immediately comforted him. "Eat these for now. Later, I'll go to the forest to catch some spirit chickens and ducks to make you a better meal." Ainley still looked at the steamed buns without speaking. Nyan thought she should go now. Seeing the baby like this was really heartbreaking. Just as Nyan turned to leave, Ainley suddenly spoke. "The forest is too dangerous. Your cultivation is low. Don't go." Nyan was stunned. Her little baby actually cared about people now. Nyan went over and rubbed Ainley's head. "Don't worry. I will work hard to take care of you. I absolutely won't let you suffer anymore." Ainley lowered his eyes and said glumly, "I'm easy to raise." His voice was very soft, hiding his broken self-esteem. Nyan didn't hear clearly. "Young master, what did you say?" Ainley looked up, his childish tone very serious. "I'm easy to raise. I'm not picky about food, and don't spend money recklessly. I can live well just eating these steamed buns. If you don't like me throwing tantrums, I can be more obedient. If you're afraid of my evil fate, you can stand far away. You don't need to serve me." Hearing the baby's words, Nyan's eyes stung. Her heart felt like it was being pierced. What a good baby. She still remembered the description of the baby's heartless last moments in the book. He was the kind of lively child, clothed in silk and eating jade. Although he liked to tease people, he was very polite. He was like a little son, especially fond of smiling at people. He particularly liked to eat candied haws. If you gave him a string of candied haws, he would smile happily and say thank you. He was really easy to kidnap. If I could become heaven, how wonderful that would be. I would surely protect her completely, guard her life without worry. Nyan inconspicuously wiped away the tears from the corner of her eyes. Nyan cupped Lee's face and planted a kiss on it. She solemnly said, "I came here for the young master. I won't die easily until I see the young master become enlightened in the cultivation world. So don't worry about me. I will always be with the young master." The male lead's illness had just improved. The female lead saw that his body had recovered quite well. She prepared to go get him some breakfast. When she entered the kitchen, there were only steamed buns. And the maid kept insulting the male lead in various ways. How could the female lead tolerate this? She directly slapped her. No one was allowed to talk about her baby like that. She thought about going to the forest to catch some spirit chickens and ducks to improve Lee's diet. But unexpectedly, she heard Lee's childish yet serious words, making Nyan's heart ache. "I came here for the young master. I will always be with the young master." She left a kiss on Lee's face. She told Lee to eat obediently, saying she'd go to the forest to catch some game and be back soon. Nyan turned and left the room. Inside the room, Lee touched his face where he had just been kissed. His red eyes were wide open. "She kissed me." When she kissed him just now, her lips were soft and fragrant. He seemed to have discovered a new world, finding it hard to believe. After a while, he softly uttered for words, "Women are interesting." Nyan walked up the mountain, sweating profusely. She had been walking for half a day and hadn't seen a single spirit beast. Suddenly, she heard the system's prompt. Congratulations, host. Target's affection increased by 36. 3,060 points added. Current affection, 30. Total points, 3,060. The affection increased so much, but what about these points? The system explained, Dear, when affection is positive, for every point of affection increase, the points gained are 10 times the negative number. New feature unlocked. Host can use points to increase cultivation or enhance charm. Spend 3,000 points to advance to the golden core stage, or exchange for an equivalent in physical advantages like a perky butt or large breasts. Yin Yin was silent for a moment, then asked, Can I exchange for medicine to rebuild spiritual roots? If I could help the baby rebuild his spiritual roots, his life should be much better in the future, right? However, the system replied, Sorry, this item is not available in the store. Yin Yin sighed. All right, then I'll use the points to increase my cultivation. For now, I need to improve my strength to protect the baby and prevent others from bullying him. As for becoming beautiful, we can talk about that later. Exchange successful. Cultivation level has been raised to golden core stage. Instantly, Yin Yin felt a huge spiritual power flowing through her body. She tried to concentrate spiritual power in her palm and threw it at the nearby trees. The next second, several thick trees were cut in half with a loud crash. Yin Yin was overjoyed. This was too cool, as expected of the cultivation world. The system then said, Host, there's an injured spirit beast here. Yin Yin crouched down to check. It was completely black, with only a circle of white fur around its right eye. The system said, This appearance is clearly a young version of the Tai in shadow. Yin Yin got excited. Quick, give me a bottle of healing spirit medicine. Put the points I owe on my account. The Tai in shadow is a rare sacred beast. The female lead Tang Muru, in order to obtain the pure Yin essence in its body for cultivation, went to the underworld with the third and fourth male leads. It took a lot of effort to catch it. I didn't expect to accidentally encounter it in advance. This bottle of Taiching Jade liquid can heal all wounds. It's worth 500 points. Host, you now owe me 440 points. Don't forget to pay it back. Yin Yin snatched the jade liquid. Got it. She picked up the Tai in shadow and made it drink the jade liquid. Instantly, its wounds healed. After a while, the little spirit beast woke up. It started acting coquettishly towards Yin Yin, quite clingy. Seems like those 500 points weren't wasted. Yin Yin lifted the little spirit beast and asked, Would you like to follow me from now on? The little spirit beast let out a series of excited howls. You're barking so happily, I'll take that as a yes. You're all black, so I'll call you Meichi Kohlball. Yin Yin noticed it was getting late. She had to hurry back. The spirit beast baby at home must be hungry. Meanwhile, Ing Li, who had just recovered, was sitting on the steps in front of the house, coughing occasionally. Hearing a sound approaching, he immediately looked up. He saw Yin Yin with a black ball standing on her shoulder and a pink piglet in each hand. When Meichi saw Ing Li, its black eyes lit up with excitement. It pounced directly towards Ing Li. Seeing this, Yin Yin tried to pull the little spirit beast off Ing Li. Meichi, what are you doing? Don't hurt the young master. I see. Do as you wish. The human and beast seemed to communicate without barriers. Hearing this, Meichi began to greedily absorb the invisible Yin energy. I'm Fine. Its true identity is the Tai Yin shadow, born in the underworld. It survives by absorbing Yin energy. I have a vicious constitution with abundant Yin energy. It's fine to let it absorb. Yin Yin was very concerned. Will it harm the young master's body? Hearing Ing Li say it wouldn't, Yin Yin let out a big sigh of relief. That's good. Ing Li shyly reached out to pull Yin Yin. I've been waiting for you for so long. I'm a bit hungry. He felt somewhat uncomfortable. Yin Yin looked at Ing Li's current state and felt very pleased. The baby has made progress. He even knows to ask for food now. Next episode preview. Pinky promised with the baby, promising to never leave him again. The male lead has just recovered from his illness. The female lead plans to catch some game to improve the male lead's diet. She unexpectedly encountered the Tai in shadow. It was a pleasant surprise. The little spirit beast saw the male lead as if seeing a feast. The female lead was worried it might harm him. Hearing it wouldn't, she felt relieved. Moreover, the male lead even actively asked for food. Yin Yin roasted the piglet she caught in the forest. The pig skin was roasted to a tempting reddish color. Ing Li sat on the stone bench holding Meichi, staring at Yin Yin as she busied herself. At this moment, Li asked, "What's your name?" Yin was stunned. The baby is asking my name. Has he finally let his guard down with me? She smiled and said to Li, "My name is Jiang Yin. Young master can just call me Yin. Yin, Li mumbled softly. His eyes stole glances at Yin. She's not the most beautiful person I've seen, but that smile she just gave me was really nice. The system popped up at this moment, prompting, target's favorability plus 10, 1,000 points. Host, the Taiching Jade liquid you bought on credit this morning has been automatically deducted from your points. Current favorability, 40. Total points, 560. I'm so stingy. System, go ahead and deduct it. Placing the roasted pork on the stone table. Young master, I specially picked the best parts of the meat. The texture is tender and easy to eat. Please eat. Li looked at the meat on the plate, his heart surging. Since I came here, I haven't eaten meat again. Even if there was some meat, it would quickly be stolen by those maids in private. He's so good to me, letting me taste sweetness, making me yearn for the human world again. But if one day he also leaves me, what should I do then? Yin looked at the dazed Li. Young master, why aren't you eating? Don't you like it? Li said hoarsely, "It's not that I don't like it." Yin, will you leave me one day too? He asked about his biggest worry. Yin was stunned. Then she said, "I will stay by young master's side forever. Unless young master doesn't want me anymore. Shall we pinky promise?" Li looked at her outstretched hand. He said softly, childish, but he still reached out to hook his pinky with hers. Yin smiled and said, "Pinky promise. It will never change for a lifetime. Now young master can rest assured, right? Eat quickly. The meat won't taste good when it's cold. I worked hard to make it." A thought flashed through Yin's mind. Could it be that she should feed the young master? Li quickly grabbed the plate. "No need," he said, and began to eat in big mouthfuls. Yin smiled gently. "Eat slowly, there's more. If it's not enough, I'll roast the other half too." A happy day passed. The next morning, when the sky was just turning white, laughter and merriment could be heard outside the bamboo courtyard. It was very lively. Hurry. Today is young master Incite's birthday. The Zhu Peak is so bustling. I heard that Useless One also has his birthday today, one person said. Why do you care about him? He hasn't celebrated his birthday since coming to this back mountain for 2 years. Walk faster. I still need to grab that 500 spirit stone red envelope. Oh, why are you in such a hurry? The sect leader said everyone who shows up gets a share. You won't miss out. The voices gradually faded away. Yin sat up. This bamboo house really doesn't block any sound. When conditions are better in the future, I must renovate it. Looking at the baby still sleeping beside her, she thought, luckily, he wasn't woken up. He can sleep a bit longer. She tucked him in and got out of bed. After I finish my business at Air Zhu Peak and come back, I'll personally wish him a happy birthday. Then she turned and left. Li watched Yin's departing figure, his eyes growing colder. Is she also going to attend that person's birthday banquet? Has she forgotten that today is my birthday too? Li's gaze was dark and unclear. His little fist clenched tightly. Yeah, saying she'll stay by my side for a lifetime, never leaving me. It's all fake. He would never give her another chance. When she comes back, he would definitely drive her away. His heart, which had just started to heal, was torn open again, bleeding profusely, covered in scars. Meanwhile, at Qilin Palace, Yin saw that there were many people here, very lively. This must be Ingci's birthday banquet. Hua Xingjun Xinyu also attended the banquet. But which one is he? Yin looked around. Xinyu is highly skilled in medicine, specializing in repairing spirit roots. I must find him. No matter what method I use, I have to make him agree to save the baby. An old maid saw Yin. Little girl, you haven't received your red envelope yet, right? Here's 500 spirit stones for you. Today is a joyous occasion. Everyone gets a share. Yin awkwardly said thank you. Suddenly, a voice announced, Hua Xingjun has arrived. Looking at the man before her, she thought, so he is Hua Xingjun. Xinyu, I need to think of a way to get his attention. A sudden idea struck her. She directly fell to the ground with a thud, clutching her stomach and saying, it hurts so much. Everyone around was stunned. The old maid asked, little girl, what's wrong? Hua Xing also walked over. What happened here? My stomach hurts so much. Hua Xing saw through Yin's act at a glance. He directly said, which family's maid are you? You're really bold, daring to fake illness. Next episode preview. The baby is angry. The female lead wanted to help the male lead rebuild his spirit root, so she went to the birthday banquet. Seeing the male lead sleeping soundly, she didn't disturb him. She thought she'd wish him happy birthday in person when she returned. But the male lead didn't know that. He thought the female lead's promise to stay with him forever was a lie. He was absolutely furious. At the birthday banquet, to attract Shin Yu's attention, Yin Yin pretended to have a stomachache and fell to the ground. Shin Yu saw through it at a glance when he came over. Which family's maid are you? How dare you pretend to be sick? You're quite bold. Yin Yin's heart skipped a beat. It seems Shin Yu's medical skills are indeed superb. He saw through my act immediately. Shin Yu waved his hand and said, attention-seeking. Everyone, disperse. Just as he was about to leave, Yin Yin grabbed his ankle. Wait, Holy Lord, please stay. Shin Yu turned back and asked puzzled, what are you doing? Yin Yin raised her face to him, smiling with a somewhat flattering tone. Holy Lord, I've long heard of your extraordinary demeanor and exquisite medical skills. In this world, you're number one, and no one dares to claim second. Seeing you today, your reputation is indeed well-deserved. Shin Yu frowned impatiently. What exactly do you want to say? Yin Yin let go of Shin Yu and knelt down before him, her tone solemn. I didn't mean to trick the Holy Lord. I just wanted to see you and had no choice but to resort to this. They say the Holy Lord is well-versed in medicine, especially skilled in repairing spiritual roots. To be honest, my young master Ing Li has had his spiritual roots destroyed for 2 years. He's in pain every day, living a life worse than death. I beg the Holy Lord to treat my young master. Shin Yu's face darkened. A cold light shot from his eyes, containing a hint of a sneer. I can treat everyone in this world, except him. Yin Yin grabbed Shin Yu's sleeve, asking reluctantly, why? They say doctors have benevolent hearts. Is it because of the young master's so-called fate? Will you just let him die? He's still a child. Shin Yu didn't want to stay any longer. He shook off Yin Yin's hand and turned to leave. Yin Yin knelt on the ground, tears falling silently. She stared blankly at Shin Yu's retreating figure. Why? Why can't they save him? In the book, the child only recovers his spiritual roots after meeting the female lead Tang Nuru. But it's still 16 years until the female lead meets the child. Does he really have to endure 16 years of hell-like pain? Yin Yin stood up, wiped away her tears. Since this path doesn't work, I'll think of other ways. The child is still waiting for me at home. I need to hurry back to celebrate his birthday. As the sky darkened, Ing Li sat alone on the steps in front of the house. Cole Ball was lying asleep beside him. Zhang Yin Yin felt something was off about him. She sat down next to him. Young master, why are you here? Her hand was about to touch his head, but was barely avoided. I was gone all day. The baby must think I abandoned him. I need to comfort him well. Yin Yin smiled and said, young master, it's my fault. I should have told you before I left. Look, I got 500 snacks today. We can use them to buy you some new clothes. Ing Li waved his hand, knocking the snacks to the ground. Liar. Ing Li's eyelashes trembled, but he didn't cry. His throat began to choke up. You said you wouldn't leave me. You said you'd always be with me. But today is my birthday. Why? Why did you leave me alone? At this moment, the system issued a warning. Target's favorability -20 as punishment. Deduct 200 points. Current favorability, 20. Total points, 360. Yin Yin was stunned. So the baby thought she had forgotten his birthday and went to attend someone else's birthday party, and that's why he's angry? Young master, it's not what you think. Ing Li had already decided to drive her away. He had prepared hundreds of vicious words in his mind, but seeing the pained expression on her face, he suddenly felt he couldn't say anything. Yin Yin said, I went to Urju Peak today because I thought the floating flower Holy Lord would be there. I wanted to persuade him to help repair your spiritual roots. But Ing Li suddenly interrupted her. You also despise me for being useless, looking down on me like everyone else. Yes, I have no spiritual roots. I'm good for nothing, living like a joke. He pushed Yin Yin away. I don't need you anymore. Go away, go away. He became more and more agitated as he spoke. His red eyes once again misted over, as if covered by a layer of gray. In response, he received a warm embrace. Yin Yin held Ing Li tightly in her arms. Let go of me. Young master, please listen to me finish. Zhang Yin Yin sighed. She had gone to great lengths to make him feel better, but he was thinking all sorts of nonsense in that little head of his, constantly misjudging her intentions, and even wanting to drive her away. What an ungrateful little one. She pulled back slightly, cupping his face, and continued, I want to help the young master repair his spiritual roots simply because I care for you. Although the young master's fate is tragic, you never bow your head. If it were me, I might have sought death long ago. So, I will never, ever look down on the young master. Ingli seemed frozen, staring at her blankly. His red eyes were wide open. So in this world, there was still such a person who truly cared for him, loved him? Ingli lowered his gaze, his eyelashes trembling slightly. His voice was muffled. Don't look for Shin Yu anymore. He won't help me. Ninian was puzzled. Why can't anyone in this sect tolerate me? He's the same. But besides him, is there anyone else who can repair spiritual roots now? After a while, Ingli slowly said no. So, we still have to go. Jiang Ninian nodded. No matter what method we use. I can listen to the young master on everything else, but not on this matter. You're so stubborn. You're only 8 years old, yet you always have such a serious face. Like a little adult, okay? Don't be angry anymore. Come on, smile. Ingli didn't smile. He just ignored Ninian. Ninian wasn't upset. She good-naturedly poked the tip of his nose. Little old-fashioned one, you're the old-fashioned one. Your whole family is old-fashioned. As Ingli spoke, he collapsed into her embrace, as if deflating. Hugging her neck, he said, Don't leave me alone again in the future, okay? I'll never leave you again. Next episode preview. A jealous little one is also very cute. To help the male lead restore his spiritual roots, the female lead ran to the birthday banquet to find Shinyu. However, Shinyu's words were like knives, stabbing the female lead's heart. He said no one would save the male lead. Returning to the bamboo house, the female lead saw the male lead sitting alone in the courtyard and felt something was wrong. She quickly explained the situation. The male lead threw himself into Ninian's arms. Can you not leave me alone in the future? Ninian gently patted Ingli. All right, I won't leave the young master alone anymore. Ingli nuzzled against her neck. You provoke me first. If one day you break your promise, I'll kill you. Jiang Ninian tapped his head, pretending to be fierce. You're just a child. How can you talk about killing so casually? A firework suddenly burst, scattering into a sky full of colorful lights. Then, one after another, fireworks exploded in the sky, one after another. It should be the celebration at the end of the birthday banquet. Happy birthday, young master. Ninian rubbed Ingli's head. I've heard that if you make a wish on your birthday, the gods will make it come true. Does the young master have any wishes? Ingli didn't respond. After a long while, he finally spoke. Ninian, you must always stay with me. Ninian smiled and replied, Okay, but he stared at her intently, his expression clearly showing disbelief. Ninian raised her hand and swore to the heavens. Don't worry, young master. Since I've come to your side, I won't leave again. Ingli mumbled a response and threw himself into Ninian's arms. The system's prompt sounded. Favorability increased by 35, points increased by 3,500. Current favorability, 55. Total points, 3,860. Ninian was very happy. These past few days, Zai Zai had been expressing his emotions much more. Unlike before when he always kept everything bottled up inside. If this continues, perhaps we can prevent him from becoming that blood-stained, deep-thinking villain. Gurgle gurgle, his stomach growled inopportunely. Ingli's face turned red. He buried his face in Jiang Ninian's embrace, unwilling to come out. Then he accused first like a villain, It's all your fault for coming back so late. You made me skip a proper meal. Jiang Ninian was roaring inside. He's flustered. His embarrassed and angry look is so cute. But on the surface, she gently said, Yes. It's all my fault. There are still some noodles in the kitchen. Shall I make you some Yangchen noodles? Ingli snorted and turned away, not looking at her. His gaze fell on the little black ball beside them, only to see Coal Ball waddling behind Ninian. Ingli walked over and grabbed Coal Ball's tail. You're not allowed to go, Ingli said fiercely. You can't run into his arms anymore in the future. Otherwise, I'll break your legs. In no time, Ninian had prepared noodles and a few dishes in the room. Young master, the noodles are ready. Eat them while they're hot. Ninian watched as Ingli ate the noodles in big mouthfuls. The little one was eating so heartily. Ninian turned to give Coal Ball a piece of meat to eat. Coal Ball suddenly yelped. Ninian was startled. Coal Ball, what's wrong? Ingli said from the side. He burned himself. He glared at Coal Ball with unfriendly eyes. Why was Ninian feeding him? She had never fed him before. This scared Coal Ball so much that he turned and started eating on his own. Nian didn't know. She thought Kobold didn't like being fed by others. Only then was Li satisfied. He knew his place. At this moment, Nian said, "Oh right, young master, I need to go to Baichi Peak tomorrow." Li paused. "He's leaving again." Nian sighed. "All the weapons in the sect come from Baichi Peak. I'm going there to buy a sword. Otherwise, walking up and down the mountain every day is really tiring. I can't take it anymore. If I can meet him when I go to Urza Peak this morning, I can come back early to accompany the young master." Li seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. He said to her, "It's good that you're coming back early." The next day, Nian arrived at Baichi Peak. "Here to buy weapons?" A male cultivator who was forging put down his work. I want to buy a sword," she replied. "Well, these are all swords. You can see which one you like." Nian's eyes lit up. "Wow, there are so many styles of swords." Suddenly, a familiar male voice came from behind. "What are you doing here?" The blacksmith Nan Xiao respectfully said, "Senior brother Shi." Nian turned around. "Isn't this the person who bullied the little one a few days ago? Why is he here?" Next episode preview. Who can resist a remorseful little puppy? No commentary can replace the original comic. If you like it, you can read the full version of the comic on ebook. The female lead went to Baichi Peak to buy a sword for convenience in going up and down the mountain. Who knew she would run into the person who bullied the little one? "Hey, are you mute? I asked what you're doing here." Zhang Nian turned around. It was indeed Shi Fan. Remembering what he had done to her little one before, Zhang Nian's expression became somewhat displeased. "Naturally, I'm here to buy weapons." "You!" Shi Fan glanced at her, his words full of contempt. "A Foundation establishment cultivator probably can't even wield a sword. Don't tell me you're buying a sword to protect that little waste." Nian got angry. She directly struck Shi Fan's stomach with spiritual energy. Shi Fan was caught off guard and was sent flying several meters away. Zhang Nian didn't want to entangle with him further. She left with a sentence. "How dare you insult my young master? Go to hell." Shi Fan's face darkened. "How dare she hit me? I'll kill you." Zhang Nian immediately moved to the side. That large hand brushed past her cheek. Nian swiftly executed a devastating kick to the groin. Shi Fan writhed in pain on the ground, assuming the Wudong stance. He kept crying out in pain. Just as Nian was about to continue beating him, a deep voice suddenly called out, "Stop!" Nian turned to look. Shi Fan quickly called out, "Master!" Ignoring the pain in his groin, he went straight to his master's side. Pointing at Nian, he said, "This maid is too much. She suddenly attacked and injured your disciple." Ji Yufeng mercilessly replied, "Don't give me that bullshit. As soon as I arrived, I saw you trying to sneak attack the young lady from behind." Zhang Nian discreetly observed the old man. This was Nanhua Jinju and Ji Yufeng. He didn't seem to be an unreasonable person. Ji Yufeng smiled at Zhang Nian and asked, "What's your name, young lady?" "My name is Zhang Nian. You can call me Nian." "Nian, what a beautiful name." "Unlike my newborn son, I still haven't figured out what name to give him. It's making my hair turn white with worry." Nian suddenly remembered the rumors that Nanhua Jinjuan had a rough personality, wasn't very cultured, liked to study weapons, and was on good terms with Xinyu due to his straightforward nature. If she could use his help, there might be hope for the baby. Zhang Nian tentatively said, "Jinjuan, how about I try to name your son?" "Why don't I try to name your son for you, Jinjuan?" Shi Fan interjected. "How could an uncultured maid like you come up with a good name?" "Master, don't be fooled by her." Ji Yufeng immediately shouted, "Go back. Stop your nonsense. Go copy the disciple's sutra 10 times. He quickly turned to Nian and said, "Go ahead, young lady. Don't listen to my unruly disciple's nonsense." Nian pondered for a moment, then slowly said, "How about Ji Ming Song? It's taken from Ming Fei Song Jiang Lu, meaning independent-minded, intelligent, bright future, and destined for greatness." Good. That's the name then. Ji Ming Song. Not bad at all. How come I couldn't think of that? Thank you, young lady. You've done me a great favor. From now on, I've got your back. If anyone in this Rimu village dares to bully you, they're not giving me face. Nian hesitantly said, "Actually, there is something I'd like to ask for your help with, Jinjuan." "Tell me about it." "A few days ago, I asked Fuhua Jinjuan for help, but he refused. I was wondering how I could get him to change his mind." Ji Feng thought for a moment. Xinyu only cares about healing people and tending to his flowers and plants. But those rare medicinal herbs are difficult to grow. Many die in his Medicine King Valley every year. If you can help him solve this problem, I think I'll help you. Ninian quickly bowed and thanked the Jinjuan for his assistance. Oh, it's nothing. Don't be so formal with me. Ninian thought, although Jifeng was a bit rough, he was actually quite nice. Before leaving, he even gave me a sword as an apology gift. It's clearly not an ordinary item. Meanwhile, Ingli sat quietly at the stone table, reading a book. Ingli looked up and saw Ninian return. He immediately came over to her, happily saying, Ninian, you're back. It seems the baby was waiting for me. Ninian smiled and responded. She took his hand and walked into the room. Did young master eat well today? Ninian teased. Young master was waiting for me outside. Did you miss me? Seemingly afraid she wouldn't believe him, he slowly raised his red eyes, squinting slightly as he stared at her. He added, really didn't miss you. Okay, you didn't miss me. But I missed you, young master. Ingli let out a very tsundra humph. But in Ninian's eyes, he just looked adorably fierce, with no real threat at all. Night fell, and darkness began to envelop the entire mountaintop. Moonlight filtered hazily through the window. Ninian and Ingli lay in bed as usual to sleep. Ingli said anxiously, Ninian, will you despise me? I have no cultivation, and my body is weak. I only cause trouble for you. Ingli's little face was tightly drawn, with some unease in his eyes. He couldn't do anything now, only being cared for by Ninian. Seeing her work so hard every day, he wanted to help her too. But all he could do was watch quietly. He could only wait for her at the bamboo courtyard gate when she came home. Jiang Ninian was stunned. Her baby's self-blaming appearance was truly adorable. She showed a warm smile. How could she despise the young master when she couldn't even love him enough? Ingli softly responded with a "em." After a while, Ingli shyly said, You're so far away. The cold air is getting into the blanket. Come sleep closer. I want you to hold me while we sleep. I'm not afraid of you crushing me. His eyes were full of longing. All right. Ninian gently embraced Ingli. The baby is starting to be clingy. That's a good thing. Sleep, young master. I'll stay with you. Drowsiness overcame her, and Ninian gradually fell asleep. In the darkness, Ingli looked at the face so close to him. His fingertip moved slightly, lowering his gaze to poke a small dimple in Ninian's cheek. It was soft, and he unconsciously poked it a few more times. The corners of his mouth involuntarily lifted into a small smile. Then Ingli moved a bit closer to Ninian until he was pressed tightly against her. Only then did he stop, closing his eyes contentedly. At this moment, the system's prompt sounded, favorability plus 10, points plus 1,000. Current favorability, 65. Total points, 4,860. Next episode preview, the baby is born. Also, no commentary can replace the original comic. If you like it, you can read it on ebook Kwaiken. The community has the complete version of the comic. The female lead goes to Baiji Peak to buy a sword, just to make it easier to go up and down the mountain in the future. Who knew she would encounter someone bullying the white kid? She couldn't let that slide. She directly used a move to crush his groin. She turned him into a Wudong disciple. When she wanted to continue beating him, Nanhua Jinju and Ji Yufeng appeared and stopped her from further beating his disciple. During their conversation, the female lead helped Ji Yufeng name his child. Ji Yufeng told Ninian that if she could help Xinyu solve his herb-growing difficulties, Xinyu might help her. The next day, Ninian set off to Xunyu's Medicine King Valley. The system prompted Ninian that she was almost there. Ninian was determined. This time, she must get Xinyu to agree to help restore the baby's spirit root. Half an hour later, a small valley gradually appeared in the void, surrounded by a barrier. As she got closer, the fragrance of grass and trees became stronger with each breath. As soon as Jiang Ninian landed, she encountered Shun Yu coming out of Medicine King Valley. Seeing it was Ninian, he raised an eyebrow and coldly mocked, It's you. Xinyu was about to close the door and leave. Ninian anxiously said, I heard that Medicine King Valley loses some precious herbs every year. I have a way to change this situation. Xinyu glanced at her sideways. No gain without pain. What do you want? It's still the same matter as before. I want to ask you to treat my young master's spirit root. Xinyu directly refused. I won't help you. Please leave. At this moment, someone rushed out of Medicine King Valley in a panic, saying, It's terrible. It's terrible. Holy Lord. The purple spirit essence flower in Medicine King Valley is dying. TSK, TSK. It's like this again. Yin patted her chest and said, Holy Lord, I can save it. Let me try. Shinyu turned to look at Yin. You really can save it? Of course I can. At this point, even if I couldn't, I'd have to say I could. Then come with me. If you can save this purple spirit essence flower, I'll agree to your request. Shinyu led Yin to the purple spirit essence flower. Go ahead and save it. Yin was a bit dumbfounded. Looking at it, it was almost completely withered. How could she save it now? Can you save it or not? Shinyu asked impatiently. Of course I can. Zhang Yin felt a bit nervous. But for the sake of her baby, she had to push through. System, come out and help quickly. We've detected that the host has a single wood spirit root. Activating the spirit root only costs 1,800 points. There's a chance to save this plant. Even if it's a small chance, we have to try. As soon as the words were spoken, Zhang Yin's face instantly turned pale. The spiritual energy between heaven and earth suddenly poured into his body, tempering his muscles and bones. It felt like countless steel needles coated with cartilage-dissolving powder were piercing into his body. It really hurts. What's wrong with you? Shinyu hurriedly supported him. He grabbed his wrist. He has a top-grade with spirit root. It actually awakened. After recovering, Yin thanked Shinyu. I was just feeling a bit weak earlier. I'm fine now. Yin sensed everything around him. All the spirit herbs in the valley seemed to come to life. He could hear the chattering of flowers and plants. Suddenly, a faint voice reached Zhang Yin's ears. It hurts so much, someone please save me. My body is full of impurities. If this continues, I'll die. So that's how it is. Zhang Yin reached out his hand instinctively. He used his inner force to purify bit by bit. Soon, some gray residue seeped out from the flower's surface. Its color changed from black to purple, looking full of vitality. Shinyu looked at Yin in disbelief. He had to admit, this woman's talent in wood-based magic far exceeded his understanding. After finishing, Yin turned to Shinyu and said, Holy Lord, I've revived the purple Lingsu flower. Now, about treating my young master's spirit root. Although Shinyu was 100 times unwilling, words spoken were like water spilled. They couldn't be taken back. He always valued his promises. Since I've promised you, I will keep my word. But remember, you must not tell anyone about helping Ili repair his spirit root. Yin quickly swore, Holy Lord, you can be 100% assured. My lips are sealed tight. Now please come with me. Shinyu snorted coldly and nodded, which was taken as agreement. Holy Lord, let me tell you, the sect members are just prejudiced against my young master. Actually, my young master is very good. He never wastes food, doesn't lose his temper, and even though he's constantly tormented by illness, he never complains. He bears it all silently by himself. He's also kind to others. Wait, Holy Lord, there's a leaf on your head. You must have accidentally picked it up in the valley earlier. Yin couldn't help but smile. Let me take it off for you. As he said this, he moved closer and reached towards Shinyu's hair. Shinyu's pupils contracted slightly, his eyes reflecting the woman's beautiful face. What are you doing? A young, sickly voice rang out, filled with rage. Little Ingli looked at Yin's hand on Shinyu's head. His face was extremely unpleasant. He felt the scene before him was unbearably offensive. An uncontrollable anger rose from his heart. Yin looked up, his gaze meeting the anger on Ing Li's face. He was slightly stunned, then instinctively withdrew his hand. Strange, why did he feel an inexplicable sense of guilt? He hadn't done anything wrong. Ingli looked at them and said angrily, Why did you come so late today? And you're not welcome here. Woof! Cold Ball stood by his feet and barked along. Fierce Zhang Yin. Yin stepped forward to explain, Young master, this is Holy Lord Huahua. He came specifically to treat your spirit root. You shouldn't speak to him like this. Ing Li's brow furrowed even more. You're actually speaking up for him? And you were smiling at him like that. You said you would only smile like that for me. You fickle woman. When did I say that? Young master, fickle isn't used like that. Zhang Yin said with a helpless smile, gently stroking Ing Li's head. But his hand was forcefully slapped away by Ing Li. Liar. After saying this, he turned and ran away, ignoring Yin calling after him. The system prompt sounded. Target's emotional fluctuation is intense. Favorability plus 15, points plus 150. Current favorability, 50, total points, 1910. Before reaching 100 favorability, it will continue to fluctuate. Keep up the good work. Haha, Yin's Zircong hand doesn't work anymore. This is a mess now. How to coax him? Also, no commentary can replace the original comic. If you like it, you can read it on Quiken. The complete version of the comic is available in the community. The female lead transmigrates into a book to save her favorite male supporting character. Ingli helped the floating flower, Holy Lord, revive the purple Lingsu flower. As agreed, if he could revive the floating flower, Holy Lord would restore Ing Li's spiritual roots. The Holy Lord, naturally not one to break his word, followed Nyenyen to their residence. On the way, Nyenyen kept praising how good her child was, saying it was the sect members who were biased against him. Seeing a leaf on the Holy Lord's head, she was about to pluck it off. But Ing Li, who had just arrived, saw this. It made him furious. He had said she would only smile at him, but now she was smiling at someone else. No matter how Nyenyen tried to explain, he wouldn't listen. His favorability dropped by 15 points directly. Ing Li ran back to his room and buried himself in the blanket. His face was gloomy. Why was he so irritated? Why did he care so much? Just thinking about Nyenyen smiling at others made his heart feel tight, as if it was being squeezed and he couldn't breathe. He tossed and turned in bed, so angry he could almost breathe fire. It was all Nyenyen's fault, flirting with others, being unfaithful. With a creak, the bamboo door was opened from outside. Nyenyen called out, "Young master." Ing Li closed his eyes, turning his back to the door. He didn't want to deal with Nyenyen. Nyenyen gently called, "Young master." Seeing no response, she gave a light slap to his upturned little bottom. Ing Li threw off the blanket, glaring angrily at Jiang Nyenyen. But looking at her gentle and smiling face, he couldn't bring himself to say anything harsh. Nyenyen gently stroked Ing Li's head. "Young master, why don't you let the floating flower Holy Lord check your spiritual roots?" I begged him for a long time before he agreed to come down the mountain. Ing Li replied irritably, "Who asked you to beg?" Knowing Nyenyen was doing this for his own good, he grunted, "Do as you wish." Nyenyen said to Xinyu, "Holy Lord, I entrust him to you." Xinyu held Ing Li's frail wrist. Spiritual energy slowly entered through his fingertips, exploring his body condition. After a long while, he let go. Jiang Nyenyen asked, "How is it, Holy Lord?" Xinyu shook his head. "The damage to the spiritual roots is too severe, and too much time has passed. It's not easy to recover." As soon as he finished speaking, Ing Li lowered his head, his eyes showing defeat, his posture so low it was heartbreaking. Jiang Nyenyen became somewhat urgent. "Not easy to recover doesn't mean it's impossible to recover, right?" Xinyu glanced at her. "It depends on fate. We need 1,000-year-old ginseng for nourishment, and a cultivator at or above the nascent soul stage to use spiritual energy daily to repair his spiritual roots. Even then, I can't guarantee complete success." Unexpectedly, Jiang Nyenyen showed no signs of discouragement. "As long as there's a chance of recovery, let's give it a try." Xinyu coldly mocked. "Let's not even mention that the 1,000-year-old ginseng is not like ordinary herbs, but a living thing roaming in the mountains, hard to spot. Moreover, the daily consumption of spiritual energy is extremely damaging to the body. Not many people are willing to help." Ing Li held Nyenyen's wrist, head lowered, his voice very low. "Nyenyen, forget it. Don't worry, young master. There must be a way." Jiang Nyenyen comforted Ing Li, pondering for a moment. She then said, "Holy Lord, just tell me what the ginseng looks like, and I'll go find it myself. As for the daily transfer of spiritual energy, I'll do it myself once I reach the nascent soul stage." Xinyu said, very puzzled, "Why go to such lengths?" Ing Li's gaze towards Jiang Nyenyen was also extremely shocked. But Jiang Nyenyen smiled. That smile was like winter sunlight barely hidden by thin clouds, warm and radiant. "This cultivation is meant to protect the young master. If I can't even do this, what use is this cultivation?" Xinyu revealed a surprised expression. His gaze towards Jiang Nyenyen lost some of its contempt and gained something different. He never expected her to be such a brave and decisive woman. Then he sighed and said, "Fine, I'll tell you. According to ancient texts, the 1,000-year-old ginseng appears as flesh attached to a large stone with both head and tail. It is a living creature." As Xinyu spoke, Jiang Nyenyen's mind involuntarily began to visualize its appearance. The The spiritual energy in her body extended outward like thin, weak vines. Reaching further and further, a scene of birdsong and flowers gradually appeared before her eyes. The flower branches showed a hint of tenderness. Spring was in full bloom everywhere, with lush flowers and grass. Among them was a small creature, like a fleshy, lingy mushroom. Following her spiritual energy, it ran and ran, its little legs spinning like wind-fire wheels as it reached the bamboo courtyard. When Yin opened her eyes, there was already a small creature at the door. It seemed to be saying, "I'm here," with its soft cries. Xinyu exclaimed, "That's the 1,000-year-old ginseng." It actually ran here by itself. The 1,000-year-old ginseng. I didn't expect this woman to have such strong control over plants and trees. Xinyu's face showed an expression other than arrogance for once. He looked at her with a half-smile and said, "Your aptitude may be even more extraordinary than you think." Yin was shocked. My goodness, Xinyu actually smiled at her. It wasn't mockery or a cold smile. In the book, Xinyu would never show a hint of kindness to anyone other than the female lead. Now he actually smiled at her. It was unbelievable. The moment Xinyu met her gaze, he seemed to realize something. He looked away and said, "I'll take this 1,000-year-old ginseng back to refine medicine. When it's ready tomorrow, I'll bring it to you, Holy Lord." A coughing sound came. Li said, "Yin, I don't feel well." Yin quickly felt Li's forehead, asking anxiously, "Where are you uncomfortable?" She then looked up at Xinyu and said, "Then please go ahead, Holy Lord. I won't see you out." After she finished speaking, Xinyu grabbed the softly crying 1,000-year-old ginseng from the ground and quickly left. Li watched Xinyu's retreating figure and smiled secretly. He slowly moved over and rested his head on Jiang Yin's lap. His voice was very obedient. "Yin, my wound hurts." Yin stood up, saying nervously, "I'll go get medicine for the young master right now." "No need." Li wrapped his arms around her waist, murmuring, "Just hold me like this for a while. No medicine needed." From Jiang Yin's perspective, her little one's pale complexion and thin frame truly evoked pity and love. "All right, I'll hold you." Li felt the warmth of Yin's embrace and also reproached himself internally. Although he didn't know why, seeing Yin smile at others made him very angry. But if he lashed out at her because of this, their relationship would only become more strained. He didn't want Yin to dislike him. In the past, he hated it most when others showed him sympathy and pity. But now, seeing the deep concern and worry in Yin's eyes, he actually felt happy. He needed her too much. He couldn't let others take her away from him. Whether by acting pitiful, using tears, or begging, he didn't care. As long as he could keep her by his side. The system prompt sounded. Favorability increased by 25, points increased by 2,500. Current favorability, 75. Total points, 4,410. Next episode preview. How to better protect the little one. The narration isn't as good as the original comic. The good comic is worth experiencing in full. The Holy Lord of Splendor agreed to help Li restore his spiritual roots. After checking his pulse, he found that Li's spiritual roots were too severely damaged. It wouldn't be easy to restore. He needed a 1,000-year-old ginseng and a cultivator at the nascent soul stage to use spiritual energy daily to restore his spiritual roots. The needed 1,000-year-old ginseng was summoned by Yin. Only the cultivation level was lacking. At night, Yin lay in bed, unable to sleep. During the day, Xinyu said they still needed a nascent soul stage cultivator to help restore the little one's spiritual roots. If she wanted to quickly reach that level in a short time, she would need to accumulate enough points. For the sake of points, sorry little one, Mom has to make a move on you. "Young master, are you asleep?" "No, it's too cold." "If you can't sleep, shall I hold you while you sleep?" The little one's long eyelashes fluttered slightly. A soft squeezed out from his throat. Jiang Yin reached out and held her in her arms. "Is this better?" Li nuzzled his head in the crook of Yin's neck. "Yin, you're so warm." Li's clear eyes reflected her figure. He obediently said he wanted to cuddle with Yin. This was vocabulary Yin had taught him. Now coming from his mouth, it had a different kind of charm. "That's too much, okay? Zai, don't be like this. My heart can't take it. I'll be smothered to death." Jiang Yin sighed. Her Zai was too innocent. She stroked his face and said, "Young master, Boys need to protect themselves when they're outside. Understand? Ingli nodded. No one except Nyin Yin is allowed. Favorability plus 5. Points plus 500. Current favorability 80. Total points 4,910. Yes, this trick really works. Nyin Yin thought of something. Her eyes curved in a smile as she said, "Our young master is so handsome, like an immortal child who stepped out of a painting. You'll surely captivate many female cultivators in the future." The little one in her arms, with his long eyelashes trembling slightly, mumbled, "Don't want others. Only want Nyin Yin." Favorability plus 3. Points plus 300. Current favorability 83. Total points 5,210. Still short on points. Nyin Yin persevered. "Our young master is the most well-behaved child in the world. Does Nyin Yin like well-behaved children? As long as it's young master, I like him no matter what he's like." And so Jiang Yin spent the whole night flattering him, finally gathering enough points. Her cultivation level directly rose to Yuaning. Half a month later, Xinyu checked Yin Li's pulse and was very surprised. "I thought it would take at least 5 months. I didn't expect it to only take half a month. I've never seen such a fast recovery speed before," Nyin Yin said happily. "We must thank the Holy Lord for his help." But then she frowned. "In a few days, it will be time for bloodletting. The sex cultivators will surely discover that young master's spiritual root has been repaired." Xinyu said, "This is exactly what I came to talk about today. If he wants to cultivate, it will surely attract the attention of the sect members. You might as well leave." Rimu Nyin asked, "Does the Holy Lord have any good places to recommend?" Xinyu looked at him and slowly uttered 3 words. "Gui Yuan Array." Before Jiang Yin could speak, Xinyu continued, "The Gui Yuan Array is an ancient divine artifact. It traps all beasts within it, extremely dangerous. But if one can come out alive, they will surely excel in cultivation." Nyin immediately refused. "No way. This would put young master in a dangerous situation." "Nyin, I want to go." She rubbed Ing Li's head. "No, young master. This is too dangerous." But Ing Li said stubbornly, "Nyin, I don't want to be useless for my whole life." "Young master." Jiang Yin was silent for a long time, before sighing and compromising. She turned and asked, "But if we leave, the sect members will surely know." Xinyu's gaze was solemn. "If he died, naturally no one would know." "You mean for young master to fake his death?" "That's right." Jiang Yin asked, "Why is the Holy Lord helping us like this? The spiritual root that was just healed would be wasted. Wouldn't that mean I work for nothing? Moreover, there are countless rare herbs in that Gui Yuan Array. When you leave, take this scroll with you. If you encounter any herbs listed here, collect them and bring them back to me." "How about it?" Nyin promised. "If we can get out, we will certainly bring them to the Holy Lord." The next day, a heart-wrenching cry echoed throughout the back mountain. "Young master, you're still so young. How could you leave? How could you be so cruel, leaving me all alone in this world? An elder burying the young..." Young master Ing Li, supposedly dead from illness, lay in the coffin waiting for the funeral. Jiang Yin knelt before the coffin, crying her heart out. Yin Ruxu asked, "Fu Hua, how is the Holy Lord's situation?" Xinyu replied, "The sect leader has already examined the body. He's indeed dead. Please accept my condolences." Yin Ruaxa looked at the pale face of the person inside the gate. With no joy or sorrow, he waved his hand and sighed. "Each person has their own fate." He then turned to leave, saying, "Take him down the mountain and bury him." Nyin watched Yin Ruaxa's retreating figure, gritting her teeth in anger. She remembered reading in the book that all disciples of Rimu, as long as they hadn't committed any major offenses, were buried in the ancestral blue bird cage. People say parents' love is boundless, yet this sect leader was so heartless. He'd rather send his own son to be buried down the mountain than let him rest in peace in the blue bird tomb. How much did he dislike him? With a sense of professional dedication to her role, Nyin knelt on the ground and cried heartbreakingly, "Young master, take me with you. I don't want to live anymore." This outburst startled Xinyu. He then said, "They've already left." Nyin recovered in 1 second, her face instantly changing as she said, "Oh," nonchalantly. Nyin quickly helped Ing Li up. Xinyu said, "I gave you the map to Gudyuan town yesterday. Follow it, and you'll arrive there soon." Picking up Nyin, Ing Li said gently, "Thank you, Holy Lord. We will surely repay your kindness in the future. Farewell for now, until we meet again." Xinyu chuckled. "Just make it out alive first." He thought, this woman is truly different from others. "Young master, let's go." Nyin carried Ing Li towards Gudyuan town. Will there be danger? The original comic is even more exciting. Ying Li's spirit root had been healed by Fuhua. To avoid detection by the sect, Ying Li's spirit root had already recovered. Xinyu told Nianyan to fake Ying Li's death and try their luck in Guyuan Town. The two arrived in Huijiang City as evening fell. It was close to Guyuan Town. The streets were crowded and lively at this hour. Street vendors were hawking candied hawthorns. Sweet and sour candied hawthorns. Nianyan bought a bright red candied hawthorn and handed it to Ying Li. Nianyan, you eat first. Little Ying Li held up the candied hawthorn, his red eyes bright. He had gained some baby fat these days, making him look even more handsome than before. Thank you, young master. Nianyan bit off one piece. As soon as it entered her mouth, it was sweet and soft, sweetening her heart. Ying Li asked, "Is it sweet?" Nianyan smiled, patted Ying Li's head, and said, very sweet." Jiang Nianyan's shadow fell over Ying Li's lowered face. His eyelashes fluttered lightly as he spoke. "Nianyan, can you not call me young master anymore in the future?" Nianyan was puzzled. "Then what should I call you?" Ying Li lowered his gaze and moved away. "Ying Li of Rimu has already died, hasn't he? I don't want to be Ying Li anymore." "Nianyan, give me a name." Ying Li looked up, tears seeming to well in his eyes, looking very pitiful. How could Jiang Nianyan ignore him? Nianyan crouched down, touching Ying Li's face. After thinking for a moment, she said, "Then let's call you Buqi." "How about Buqi?" "Because Buqi." Buqi widened his eyes. A smile tugged at the corners of his lips as he threw himself into Nianyan's arms. "Let's use this name. He wants to be inseparable from Nianyan." "You." Nianyan lightly poked him, her brows creasing in an indulgent smile. "Buqi, it's getting late. Let's find an inn first." From this moment on, Ying Li was dead. In this world, only the name Buqi was bestowed upon him. Wherever Jiang Nianyan was, that was his home. Favorability plus 10. Points plus 1,000. Current favorability 99. Total points 1,310. Nianyan carried Ying Li for a long time. The map clearly marked an inn nearby, but they couldn't find it even after searching for a while. Suddenly, cries for help came from around the street corner. "What are you screaming for? Hurry up and hand over your money. Today, even if you scream your throat raw, no one will come to save you." He followed the sound. "Isn't it a bit too much to bully someone like this with superior numbers? Where did that come from?" Before he could finish his foolish words, everyone turned to look behind them. They were stunned when they saw who had arrived. It was a beautiful woman around 20 years old. She was holding a 7 or 8-year-old boy in her arms. The leader was drooling. "Oh, where did this little beauty come from? That's too much. Brothers, we have even worse things in store. Do you want to see?" Buqi looked at everyone. His eyes shot out waves of cold light, carrying a bone-chilling coldness. How could these filthy things defile his Nianyan? They truly deserve to die. The leader reached out to touch Nianyan's shoulder. "Little beauty, let me take good care of you." Nianyan immediately used force, breaking the leader's hand with a crack. "Since you can't control your own hand, let me help you disable it. This way, you won't use it to do bad things anymore." Just as he was about to curse at Nianyan's swoosh, a hawthorn seed cut his face. Nianyan angrily shouted, "Get lost now." The underlings looked at each other. Finally, they reluctantly dragged their boss away. One of them looked back at Jiang Nianyan once more. After all, such a beautiful woman was rare to see. Zhao Anming, who had been beaten, stood up. "I have fairy. There really are fairies in this world. Fairy, you saved this young master. I must offer myself to you in marriage." Buqi grabbed Zhao Anming's neck with one hand. "Don't get close to him," Nianyan said helplessly. "Buqi, let go first." Buqi reluctantly let go and put his arms around Jiang Nianyan's neck. Nianyan asked, "What's your name?" "This young master is called Zhao Anming. My father is Zhao Shang. Our family is very rich. I swear, if you come with me, all our family's wealth will be yours." "You're Zhao Anming?" Jiang Nianyan interrupted in surprise. "Zhao Anming, isn't he one of the original female Li Tang Muru's harem members?" Zhao Anming scratched his head embarrassedly. "The fairy knows me too. I'm quite famous, this young master." At this moment, the system suddenly popped up. "Congratulations to the host. Congratulations on successfully triggering the hidden mission, Conquer the Female Leads 7 Men. Floating Glory, Holy Lord Xinyu. Attribute, superb medical skills. Poisonous Tongue Chen Xiao. Young Master Zhao Anming. Attribute, family has a mind. Chinibu Northern Wolf King Tang Xuanya. Attribute, off-the-charts combat power. Sister Complex Pure Young True Lording Ci. Attribute, inheriting his father's business. Male lead Halo. Miao Tribe Insect King Jieyu. Attribute, skilled in witchcraft and insects. Crazy beautiful demon Lord Yi Ling Yuan, attribute, arrogant and conceited, hobby, womanizing. In Buki has changed his name, attribute, affected by strange factors, system unable to obtain data. Dear, if you successfully conquer these 7 men, the system will give generous rewards, the system said enticingly. Zhang Yinyan shook her head. I don't have a hobby of building a harem. Moreover, Ingzi and Ingli are brothers. Incest shouldn't be this messy. Let's forget about this task. Dear, we also have the task of seizing the female lead Tang Rose protagonist's luck. Host, please consider this one. Zhang Yinyan continued to refuse. I don't have a habit of randomly taking other people's things. Let's forget about this task too. This infuriated the system. The system had never seen such a lazy host before. It was also the first time the host abandoned moral integrity and started cursing. Ha ha. Ninian hugged Buki in her arms. I'm not interested in other men. I just want to peacefully raise my child now. Being able to raise my child well is already satisfying enough. Next episode preview. The child gets into an argument with someone. Ninian helps Zhao Anming out of a sense of justice. Unexpectedly, he wants to offer himself in marriage. The 3 of them arrive at an inn. Zhao Anming was very attentive, serving dishes to Ninian. He expressed that his family was wealthy. As long as Ninian agreed to marry him, beer, fried chicken, and crayfish, having small barbecues 3 times a day would be no problem at all. With a loud In Buki's chopsticks were slammed onto the table. Looking at Zhao Anming, his eyes suddenly turned dangerous. He had been tolerating him the whole way. Coalball, go bite him for me. The next second, Coalball darted out and bit Zhao Anming's arm. It must be said, Coalball really stepped up when needed. Zhao Anming howled in pain. Fairy, save me. I'm yours, body and soul. Ninian didn't really want to save him, but she still picked up Coalball. She handed Coalball to Buki, saying to let him eat first while she went to ask about the guest rooms. She'd be back soon. Zhao Anming pondered thoughtfully. The fairy cared so much about this child. Could he be her brother? It seemed he needed to get on good terms with him. He picked up the wine pot and poured a cup for Buki. Come, tiare. I guarantee you'll want more after one taste. A moment later, Ninian returned. She saw her child standing on a chair, angrily shouting at Zhao Anming. Ninian is mine. You want to marry Ninian? Don't even think about it. Apart from having some stinking money, you're good for nothing. You're not worthy of Ninian. Zhang Ninian looked at her child's usually pale face, now flushed red, and had a bad feeling. Ninian immediately became furious. She directly gave Zhao Anming a punch. He's only 8 years old, and you actually let him drink? After beating him up, she handed Zhao Anming to the waiter, saying she would send him back tomorrow. If he stayed any longer, her child would surely be corrupted by him. She picked up her drunk child, gently coaxing him. Don't be angry. Shall we go back to the guest room? The child in her arms spoke the truth after drinking. Ninian, when I grow up, I want to marry you. I don't want you to do that kind of thing with other men. Zhao Anming said that after growing up and getting married, couples have to. Ninian asked, puzzled. Have to what? Wuji's face turned red. He buried his face in Ninian's chest. Anyway, they have to do that kind of thing. I'm not telling you anymore. It's embarrassing him. Ninian was utterly embarrassed. What on earth had that unreliable Zhao Anming taught her child? She'd teach him a lesson tomorrow. Early the next morning, Ninian sent Zhao Anming back to the Zhao family in Buzhou City. She originally wanted to remind him that his father would suddenly fall ill and pass away in 2 years. Just as she was about to speak, the system warned her, except for the target person affected by Buki, you have no right to interfere with other people's unknown fates. At this moment, Zhao Anming held on to Ninian. What I said earlier about wanting to marry you, fairy, was serious. If you're interested in the future, this promise will always stand, no matter when. Ninian was shocked. Wasn't this the classic line Zhao Anming said to the female lead Tang Miru? What's going on? Don't throw the female lead script at me. Ninian broke out in a cold sweat. Marriage is not a trivial matter. I believe you will surely meet someone better in the future. After saying this, she hurriedly left with her child for Guiyuan Town. At midnight, Guiyuan Town appeared. The map showed that Guiyuan Town was nearby. The two finally arrived at their destination. Ninian picked up her child. Is Buki scared? The child said with determination in his eyes, as long as I'm with Ninian, I'm not afraid. Nian held Ing Li as she entered Guiyuan town, softly saying, I will always be with Buki too. The two finally arrived at Guiyuan town. The moment Nian stepped into Guiyuan town with her child was the beginning of a complete change. In the blink of an eye, Nian and Ing Buki had been living in Guiyuan town for 2 years. Nian heard Buki calling her. She turned around and saw Buki hiding behind the door, not coming over. Nian waved at Buki, smiling and saying, You finally decided to come back? You've been gone for days. Come here, let me see if you're hurt anywhere. Buki slowly walked over, saying he was fine, but seeing the wounds on his face, Nian was very worried. How can you be fine looking like this? She grabbed Buki's hand and checked his pulse to assess his injuries. His dantian was empty, and his meridians were sluggish. He was clearly seriously injured. Just as Nian was feeling heartbroken, a bunch of flowers was held up in front of her eyes. Wuji's face was flushed red. Nian, these are flowers I just picked. I thought they looked pretty. He held them up high with both hands, offering them to her. It was actually the beauty's offering flower. This flower only grows on cliffs, guarded by snake-bodied monsters with human faces. To pick it, one must kill the monster. Could Buki's injuries be because of this? Nian was so moved she burst into tears. Buki asked with hopeful eyes, Nian, do you like these flowers? However, the next second, Nian turned and ran back to her room. She slammed the door shut with a bang. Buki hadn't expected Nian to react like this. He shouted loudly. Buki knocked desperately on the door. Nian, did I do something wrong? Please don't ignore me. Nian, is it because the flowers are stained with blood and don't look good? I'll go pick a bigger, prettier one without blood stains right now. Just as Wuchi was about to turn and leave, Nian spoke. Come in. Nian sat expressionless in a chair. Wuchi had no choice but to admit defeat. He lowered his head and said, Nian, I know I was wrong. Nian asked with tears in her eyes. Then what did you do wrong? Wuhi frantically explained. Nian, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have disappeared for 2 days without a word. He reached out to touch Nian's face, but she dodged. That's not the main issue. What upsets me is that you don't cherish your own life. Have you ever thought about how heartbroken I would be if something happened to you? Yuki's little face looked somewhat aggrieved. I know. I just thought these flowers were beautiful and wanted to give them to you. Nian also felt her tone had been a bit harsh earlier. She patted Buki's head. You silly child, don't do this again. You're still young. Don't risk your life. Seeing that Nian wasn't angry anymore, Buki quickly agreed. I won't do it again. But inwardly, he thought mischievously. With this incident, if anyone gives Nian flowers in the future, it probably won't stir up much emotion in her heart. Nian touched his injured cheek. Does it still hurt? Buki had just said it didn't hurt anymore. Nian pinched his cheek. If it doesn't hurt, go take a bath first. The smell of blood on you is awful. It stinks. As soon as Buki turned to leave, the system popped up and said, Dear, have you noticed that Buki's gaze towards you seems a bit off? What do you mean off? I think it's normal. Nian waved her hand dismissively and boasted. Under my Jiang family's education, not only is Zizi becoming more outgoing, but he's also getting healthier and eating well. The system felt extremely awkward. It hoped it had seen wrong. In the blink of an eye, it was midnight. Nian was reading by candlelight. Buki, who had just finished bathing, came to Nian's side with his long hair still dripping wet. Nian turned to see Buki's hair was soaking wet and asked puzzled, Why didn't you dry your hair? Buki pitifully touched his arm, indicating that he was injured while fighting monsters today. Even after applying medicine, it still hurt to raise his arm. Nian patted the bed and said, Come here, I'll help you dry your hair. Sleeping with wet hair will make you catch a cold. Nian helped Buki dry his hair. The boy noticed they were sitting a bit far apart. He scooted his bottom closer to Nian. Nian saw Buki getting closer and said, It's a bit hot. Don't sit so close. Hearing Nian tell him not to get close, Buki said, somewhat sadly, Nian, do you dislike me? He turned and hugged Nian's waist tightly, as if afraid she would run away. Nian looked at Buki in her arms, feeling helpless. He had grown quite a bit, but was still so clingy. All right, I've already dried your hair with spiritual energy. You can go to sleep now. Just as Nian got under the covers, Byuki said with a red face. Yin, I want to share a blanket with you. This kid was getting more and more mischievous. Zizi picked flowers to give to Yin. However, this was just a strategy he thought of to prevent Yin from being influenced by other men. At night, when Yin helped Byuki dry his hair and prepared to sleep, Byuki brought his blanket to Yin's bedside, wanting to share a blanket with her. Yin refused. No, it's too hot. Besides, you're still injured. Touching the wounds won't help them heal. Byuki started his spoiled mode. With that pitiful look, he said, love will disappear, right? Yin gave in helplessly. Fine, come in then. Byuki finally got his wish and pounced into Yin's arms. Yin tucked Byuki in, patted his head affectionately, and said, can we sleep now? Zizi responded and fell asleep peacefully. In the blink of an eye, several years passed. In the valley stream, there was a scene of a handsome man bathing. It was quite a sight. This person was none other than Byuki, the grown-up Byuki. Yin came looking for Byuki at the stream and saw him naked. She was extremely embarrassed. Byuki even started posing, asking, Yin, do I look good? This is a perfect body, isn't it? Yin turned away immediately, her face bright red, and said, why aren't you wearing clothes? I called you so many times with no response. I thought something had happened to you. Jiang Yin, why are you panicking? It's not like you haven't seen it before. You've seen it plenty when you bathed me as a child. As she was lost in thought, Byuki hugged Yin's slender waist from behind. He nuzzled her earlobe with his lips and said, I'll put on clothes. Yin was stunned for a moment, then came to her senses. She pushed Byuki away, saying, how do you walk without making a sound? Quickly let go of me. It turned out that the little one had grown so big without her noticing. His features no longer had the innocence of childhood. The cute little one was completely gone. He wasn't soft and cute anymore. She sighed inwardly and said, let's go back. It's time to open a new room. He needs to sleep on his own now. Byuki grabbed Yin's hand. He asked nervously, are you hurt? Yin replied casually, it's nothing. I encountered a monster on my way here earlier. It caught me off guard and scratched me. Byuki's expression darkened. Yin, do you remember what that monster looked like? Yin thought for a moment. It seemed to have horns on its head, a tail behind, and a snake-like body. Before Yin could finish speaking, Byuki suddenly picked her up. Yin exclaimed, what are you doing? I can walk by myself. Byuki looked tenderly at Yin in his arms. You're injured. We need to get back quickly to treat the wound. Carrying you like this will be faster. Yin's face turned red, feeling a bit helpless. I only injured my arm, not my legs. Soon, they returned to their dwelling. While bandaging the wound, Byuki muttered, how can you be so careless? Haven't you heard the saying, a woman shouldn't have scars? You don't take care of yourself, yet you lecture me every day. If you keep this up, I'll be heartbroken. Hearing Byuki lecture her instead, Yin felt a bit impatient. I know. Byuki's eyes were like those of a hungry wolf looking at her. Yin looks so beautiful like this. Zizi, that look, why does it feel strange somehow? Yin was completely puzzled. Byuki is the truly handsome one. One day, if you leave Guiyuan town, who knows how many good girls you'll charm outside. I am secretly pleased. Sorry, ladies, I've trained a master of flirting, and he's good-looking too. You'll have to resist him. Hearing her say this, Byuki felt a bit dejected. If Yin is worried I'll charm other girls, you can just not let me leave Guiyuan town. Yin quickly said, that's not possible. You can't possibly stay in this town with me for your whole life without finding a wife. You'll eventually leave Guiyuan town to explore the outside world and find your own destiny. Before Byuki could say anything, Yin interrupted him. Oh, and also, you're not young anymore. It's not appropriate for us to live together. This afternoon, I'll prepare a separate room for you next door. You'll sleep in your own room. Hearing that Yin wanted to live separately, Byuki's face darkened. He turned and left quickly. Yin called after him, but Byuki said without looking back, I'm going to kill that monster that hurt you. The door slammed shut. Yin wondered if Zizi had entered his rebellious phase. His temper seemed to flare up so suddenly. Next episode preview. Why has the grown-up Zizi become obsessed with washing blankets? Byuki anxiously searched for Yin in the valley. He heard the sound of water from the stream and followed it. Byuki's red eyes fixed intently on Yin in the small stream. Seeing Byuki approach, Yin smiled gently. Wearing thin clothes, she leapt out of the water. Byuki's Adam's apple bobbed, his face flushed red. Before Yin could finish speaking, Yin Yin leaned close to his ear and whispered seductively, "Byuki, you're naughty. You peeked at me bathing." Her clothes brushed suggestively against his thigh twice. He yearned desperately, nuzzling the woman's earlobe with his lips. The warm, soft touch of her skin nearly drove him mad. Just as things were getting crucial, woof, woof, Matsu barked while licking Byuki's face incessantly. Hearing this sound, Byuki suddenly opened his eyes. He had been passionately entangled with Yin Yin in his dream, at the height of pleasure, when he was abruptly awakened by this little creature. Byuki was furious. He punched Matsu off the bed with one blow. Matsu looked bewildered, sensed danger, and quickly ran away. Byuki covered his eyes with his arm, taking a while to recover. He sighed, "What a pity, it was just a dream." He lifted the blanket. Getting up, he saw a lump in the blanket. You all understand." His face turned bright red. With a quick pat, he hurriedly covered it up. It was utterly embarrassing. His pants were dirty again. After cleaning up, Wuji came out calling for Yin Yin. There was no response. No one was in the room either. He then realized that at this hour, Yin Yin had probably left Guyuan town to go shopping outside. She slowly approached the bed. She buried herself completely in the bedding, greedily and obsessively sniffing the scent on it. The nape was soft and comfortable, warm like accumulated sunlight for days. Just like Yin Yin. Yin Yin, you truly have a cruel heart. Why make her sleep alone? He just wanted to sleep together with her. He reached in with his hand. He buried his face in the bedding, only comfortably moving his Adam's apple. His voice slightly hoarse, he murmured Yin Yin's name. When Yin Yin returned, Wuchi was washing blankets by the stream. "Wuchi, why are you washing blankets again?" "Blankets shouldn't be washed too often. The more you wash them, the less warm they become." "Huh? Why are you washing my blanket too?" Byuki was silent for a moment, then replied, "It's always good to wash them clean. Summer's coming, so we won't need thick ones anyway. Do you need help?" Just as Yin Yin was about to grab the wooden basin, Byuki panicked, his face turning as red as a monkey's bottom. He quickly took the basin. No need. I'm almost done." "Yin Yin, you go back and cook first. I'm a bit hungry." Yin Yin pondered, thinking that Zizi's obsession with cleanliness was getting worse. It was one thing to be obsessive about his own things, but he always washed hers too. It felt strange somehow. Byuki looked at the duvet cover soaked in the stream water, slightly frowning. If this continues, he'll find out sooner or later. Although he was meant to marry her anyway, Yin Yin had no romantic feelings for him. What if she got scared and ran away when she found out? Thinking this, Byuki, as if giving up, threw the blanket into the water with one motion. It's all Yin Yin's fault. The person he loves most is always right in front of him, yet he can't have her. She doesn't know how hard it is for him to resist. One day, he'll make her his alone. No one else can take her away. Have you ever seen a boy you raise yourself thinking about devouring you completely every day? Yin Yin lay on the bed, leisurely reading a newly bought dual cultivation novel. Seeing Byuki come in, she put the book face down on her leg. "Byuki, you're here. What do you want to eat for lunch? I'll make it for you in a bit." Byuki sat down next to her, wrapping his arms around her waist and nuzzling his head in the crook of her neck. "I like everything Yin Yin makes." Yin Yin poked his head. "You've grown up, but still so clingy." Byuki saw the name of the picture book and asked, "Yin Yin, why are you reading dual cultivation books now?" Yin Yin wasn't shy at all. "I heard dual cultivation can increase cultivation and feels good. I was curious, so I bought it to take a look. And there are illustrations next to the text. It's really stimulating and educational." Wuchi didn't dare to imagine. "Yin Yin, who do you want to dual cultivate with? Are you going to leave me?" Zhang Yin Yin was stunned. They had lived in Guyuan town for 16 years. In Byuki's small world, she was the only person. So whenever she became close to someone else, he would feel insecure, afraid she would gradually drift away from him. Zhang Yin Yin gently stroked his hair and said, "Don't worry. Until you find a wife, I will always be with you. I'm just afraid you'll forget about me after you get married." Byuki hugged Yin Yin tightly. "How could that be? I don't want anyone else. Only Yin Yin. Yin Yin will never be able to slip away from me in this lifetime." Yin Yin sighed deeply. "I'll stay by your side. I'm not going anywhere." Having received this promise, Byuki was finally at ease. "Yin Yin, can I borrow it to read? I also want to see what's so good about this dual cultivation." Yin Yin generously took out all the picture books. "I have many here. You can read whichever ones you want." Wuji took all the books away. He returned to his own room. The firelight flickered ominously on his handsome face. A flash of ruthlessness passed through his eyes. With a swoosh, he threw all the picture books into the fire basin. Yin can only be mine in this lifetime. Even if it's dual cultivation, it can only be done with me. At night, Yin stood outside the bamboo courtyard. This wasn't the bamboo courtyard in Guyuan town, but the one in Rimulai. She was puzzled. Wasn't she sleeping? How did she suddenly appear here? How did she suddenly appear here? Laughter of a woman came from inside. Yin was confused and pushed the door open. What she saw shocked her. The two people were doing what she had seen in the picture books earlier that day. How could Tang Miru be here? Tang Miru looked up and saw Yin. She giggled. "Ali, someone's peeking at us." Een Byuki's body tensed. He tidied up their clothes and turned to look at Yin. His eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. "Why are you here?" Yin felt that Byuki was extremely unfamiliar at this moment. She felt inexplicably scared, but still took a few steps forward. "Byuki, what's wrong with you?" Tang Miru nestled in Byuki's arms. "Ali, I should have been the one to save you. For so many years, this woman has occupied my place and stayed by your side. I don't like her," Wuji said coldly. "Is that so? Then let's kill her." The next second, sword energy as swift as lightning came rushing towards her. A sword pierced through Jiang Yin's heart. Yin woke up from her dream, shouting no. She sat up covered in cold sweat. She was gasping for air, her vision blurring. She shook her head and became a bit clearer. Fortunately, it was just a dream. Why did she suddenly dream of Tang Miru? She had brought Zizi to Guyuan town, so they shouldn't have any more interactions with Tang Miru. She still remembered the outline of the novel, but the details were becoming increasingly blurry. What's going on? She felt that she was forgetting more and more of the novel's content. Yin called out to the system to check the favorability meter. Current favorability, 99. System, are you bugged? It's been 16 years, and this favorability has been stuck at 99 without moving. Next episode preview. She actually craves Zizi's body. Yin, this naive fool. She still doesn't know that the boy she raised with her own hands thinks about devouring her completely every day. Even if it's dual cultivation, it can only be done with him. At night, Yin dreamed of Zizi doing that thing with the female lead Tang Miru, and he even wanted to kill her. Yin woke up in panic, not understanding why she would still dream of Tang Miru. She checked Zizi's favorability towards her. After so many years, it was still stuck at 99. The system frantically hinted that everything was normal. "Oh, think about it. Is there anything else you haven't completed?" Jiang Yin suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Right, it must be because of how the people from the sect treated him before. Zizi still has some resentment in his heart. As long as I help him vent this anger, the favorability will definitely reach 100%. We've lived in Guyuan town for over a decade. It's time to leave Guyuan town. Yin got up and was tidying her clothes. She looked up and saw Byuki return. He was covered in wounds, with blood slowly flowing down one arm. Although Jiang Yin was used to it, she was still startled. "What happened? How did you get hurt again? Come inside quickly. Let me bandage you up." She kept muttering. "I've told you so many times, if you can't win, just run." But this was just Byuki's little trick. He deliberately got hurt, wanting her to worry about him. Yin asked him to take off his clothes to check the wounds on his body. Byuki revealed his perfect six-pack abs. Yin's eyes were fixed. Even though she had seen them many times, she couldn't help but feel envious. Yin, Byuki called her softly, laughing. Jiang Yin came to her senses, blushing. She had been staring at her child's body in a daze. She lowered her head and helped Zizi apply the medicine. She blew on his wounds. Byuki's body trembled, still stubbornly saying it didn't hurt. Yin was very worried. "You're lying? It must hurt a lot. Bear with it, this medicine is effective. You'll be better by tomorrow. After recovering these days, we'll leave Guyuan town and return to Rimulai." Byuki was confused. Why go back to Rimulai? The Immortal Alliance conference is about to be held. All the immortal sects will be there. Don't you want to go back? Does Yin want me to participate? Yin replied, "Of course I do." Byuki lowered his eyes. After a while, he smiled and said, "All right, I'll do whatever Yin says." Yin still didn't know how to leave Guyuan town. but Byuki said he knew how to leave. They just needed to defeat the guardian beast. That day, the two of them started fighting with the beast. Just as the beast was about to hurt Yin, Byuki, without thinking, immediately pulled Yin into his arms to protect her. Byuki's red eyes burned with bloody rage. Violent killing intent was raging inside him. That beast almost hurt Yin. Today, he absolutely wouldn't let you live. Next episode preview. They actually encountered the female lead. To make Yin worry about him, Zizi deliberately got hurt. He took off his clothes, blatantly seducing Yin, showing off his perfect body. After Zizi's wounds healed, the two of them came to the array's eye and started fighting with the beast. Just as the beast was about to hurt Yin, Wuchi quickly pulled her into his arms to protect her. Anything that hurt his Yin had to die. Spiritual power gathered in his hand, and he swung his sword down. He actually cut off one of the beast's horns. Without giving the beast time to react, Wuchi thrust his sword into its neck. Yin, looking at Zizi protecting her, was completely stunned. He had become this powerful. Judging from that attack just now, his cultivation level must be at least at the nascent soul stage. Ordinary beasts in the array shouldn't be able to hurt him. Could it be that he deliberately got hurt? Byuki, panting, said, "The beast is severely injured. The good Yuan array's eye is open. Yin, we should go." Because Byuki had just consumed a large amount of spiritual power, his body weakened and he collapsed, coughing up a mouthful of blood. Yin was extremely anxious. Tears fell like rain. Wuchi murmured in a low, hoarse voice, "Yin, don't cry. This life was saved by you in the first place. How strange. It seems heaven has never favored me. It's determined to take my life. But I don't want to give it up. I want to give it to you." He's so desperate to be loved. Desperate to the point of despair. Desperate to the point of making him hurt. Yin fainted from anxiety. She had already lost her composure. At this moment, the system spoke up. "Dear, there's something I'm not sure if I should say. Have you forgotten about me in the mall?" Reminded by the system, Yin finally reacted. She quickly used 500 points to exchange for a bottle of Taiching jade liquid from the mall and gave it to Byuki. After settling him in an inn in Huaijiang City, she went out to find Ishio. As Yin was walking, the bustling crowd in front suddenly parted, shouting, "There's a wolf!" A huge white wolf charged straight towards Yin. It stopped right in front of her. At this moment, a woman in red clothes came down from the wolf's back and apologized to Yin. This person looked familiar, as if she had seen her somewhere before. As Yin was puzzled, the system gave her the answer. "Congratulations, host. Congratulations." The female lead of the book, who is loved by thousands and possesses unparalleled beauty, Jiao Tang Muru, has successfully met you. What? To be honest, Yin didn't like this female lead very much. Duchi used forbidden techniques for her, was backlashed, and then fell into demonic cultivation for her, yet was killed by her own hands. For those who sacrificed for her, she maintained an innocent attitude. Yin clenched her fists, silently vowing to herself she would never let Byuki meet such a tragic fate again. The man sitting on the wolf's back was Tang Xuanye, the Wolf King of the North. Tang Muru was an orphan who was picked up by Tang Xuanye when she was very young. He raised her as his own sister. But as they grew up, feelings beyond siblings developed. It seemed they hadn't yet broken through that barrier. Tang Muru waved at Yin and said, "Miss, my brother and I have some business to attend to. We'll take our leave now." Yin watched Tang Muru leave, thinking about how to avoid her as much as possible in the future, trying not to let Byuki encounter her. Next episode preview. Will Yin blush at herself? In the inn, Byuki lay wounded on the bed. Old Ishio finished preparing the medicine. He said, "Young man, your injuries aren't as severe as that girl said. Seeing how anxious she was, I thought you were about to die." Byuki turned his head without saying a word. Old Ishio suddenly gossiped. "Young man, you didn't deliberately get hurt to make that girl worry about you, did you?" Byuki's eyelashes trembled slightly. After a long while, he faintly responded with an "So young, yet so cunning." Old Ishio laughed as he applied medicine. "Since you have those feelings, why hide them? I can see that girl really cares about you. She must like you too." Byuki's breath hitched, then he shook his head. "She just sees me as a child. If Yin discovers I have different feelings, she might not treat me so well anymore." Old Ishio was stunned, then shook his head. "Young man, let me give you some advice." Byuki immediately sat up. "One day, stare at her. If she avoids your gaze and blushes shyly, then there's hope. If she slaps you or remains calm, then you might need to work harder. I think she's a fine girl. If you marry her, it would be your blessing. As old Ishio was giving Byuki advice, the door opened from outside. How is he, old sir? Is the injury severe? Just as old Ishio was about to speak, he was interrupted by a fit of coughing. Nyenyen quickly embraced Byuki, asking worriedly, "Are you still in a lot of pain?" Old Ishio watched as Byuki's face changed expressions like a Sichuan opera mask change, and immediately understood what was happening. His injuries are quite severe. He needs to rest well for a few days. Brew these medicines for him to drink. Oh, and the wound can't get wet. If someone helps him bathe, he might recover faster. Jiang Nyenyen finally breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you, sir. No need to thank me. His back wound hasn't been bandaged yet. You should wrap it up. I have to go now. Byuki obediently sat still as Nyenyen bandaged his wound. She also tied a pretty butterfly knot. Looking at the butterfly knot on his chest, Nyenyen sighed. If only you were a little girl. I could braid your hair every day and dress you in pretty dresses. I'm different from little girls, Byuki mumbled. Then, as if remembering something, he called out, Nyenyen. Nyenyen looked at him, confused, meeting his gaze. Their eyes locked. Byuki kept staring, his gaze intense and deep. Nyenyen's heart skipped a beat, feeling inexplicably nervous. The room fell silent, an unspoken intimacy arising, making one's face heat up. Nyenyen turned her head away. Byuki recalled what old Ishio had said earlier. If she averts her gaze and blushes shyly, then there's hope. Byuki, is there something on my face? Nyenyen tilted her head to look at him, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. Her eyes curved into crescents, a charming smile on her lips. Byuki suddenly looked away, inwardly berating himself for being such a coward. Byuki buried himself in the blanket. Do you have a fever? Your face seems a bit red. Jiang Nyenyen leaned over, intending to check his forehead temperature, but he dodged her hand. He mumbled, Nyenyen, I'm hungry. Nyenyen let out a long sigh. All right, you rest first. I'll go buy some food. Jiang Nyenyen quickly walked out. After closing the door, her footsteps paused slightly. Her heart was beating rather fast. She fanned herself with her hand, wondering why it was so hot in March. Next episode preview. Zizi starts to play mind games. Zizi is becoming more and more calculating. He steals a kiss from Nyenyen while she's asleep. Night falls. Byuki, lying in bed, looks at Nyenyen sleeping beside him. Worried about his injury and having no one to care for him at night, she insisted on sleeping in the same room. This is the first time he shared a bed with Nyenyen since they started sleeping in separate rooms before the new year. Nyenyen, are you asleep? Byuki's voice was a bit hoarse as he whispered in her ear. In the quiet night, there was no response. His gaze slowly fell on her soft lips. He had never kissed her. He wanted to kiss her. Just once. Just once would be enough. He was like a prisoner, finally free to indulge in her fragrance. A soft moan escaped from between Nyenyen's lips. After a while, he stopped. Gently caressing Nyenyen's face, he placed another kiss on her forehead. Holding Nyenyen in his arms, he wondered how he could make her love him. With tears? Or begging? As long as he could keep Nyenyen by his side, he didn't care what he had to do. The next day, they finally returned to Rimu Village. Nyenyen sighed. Rimu Village is still as beautiful as it was 16 years ago. It hasn't changed at all. Turning to Byuki, she said, the Immortal Alliance meeting is in 2 days. They've already registered. To avoid the crowds, it's better to stay here. Wuji, wiping sweat from his face, said he had been traveling all day and wanted Nyenyen to help him bathe. Nyenyen turned her head and refused, telling him to wash himself. But inwardly, every time she helped him bathe, she felt an indescribable, inexplicable emotion that tormented her. Unexpectedly, the next moment, Byuki covered his mouth and started coughing. Nyenyen was startled. Byuki, what's wrong? It's nothing. Maybe I moved too much earlier today, and the wound on my back reopened. Byuki lowered his eyes, wiping his mouth with his sleeve, and said, Nyenyen, get some rest. I can manage on my own. As he turned to leave, there was a blood stain on the back of his clothes. His figure looked lonely. Nyenyen regretted it immediately and chased after him anxiously. Byuki, wait. I'll help you wash. Her Zizi was so well-behaved, never troubling her with anything. If he wasn't so badly injured, he wouldn't have bothered her. She had been too picky. Byuki stopped, his eyes hiding a deep, unfathomable smile. But when he turned around, his expression was pitiful. Then I'll trouble Nyenyen. In the bathroom, Nyenyen looked at the wound on Byuki's back. What happened? How did the wound open so severely? Nyenyen's eyes widened in disbelief. It was just a small movement to bathe, not asking him to perform a Thomas Flare or a 7-color sunshine radio calisthenics. How did it tear open like this? The corners of Byuki's mouth curved up in childish delight. Although tearing open the newly healed wound was painful, this way he could be close to Nyenyen for a few more days. Nyenyen poured water into the bathtub. The water slid down her skin. The sight of his strong chest made Nyenyen blush, her heart pounding. Nyenyen helped Byuki put on his clothes. From in front of her came a demanding request from a certain cub. Nyenyen, can I sleep with you tonight? Before she could refuse, Byuki hugged Nyenyen, nuzzling his head in the crook of her neck. I don't want to sleep alone. It's too cold, he said, his tone a mix of coquettishness and pitifulness. Okay, she replied, then realized what she'd said. Her mind had gone blank just now, her thoughts in complete disarray. She didn't know why she had agreed. She had been determined to avoid suspicion. Next episode preview. Nyenyen, he's the one my heart yearns for. An ancient flirt tries to seduce Byuki. Byuki directly embraces Nyenyen, saying, this is the one my heart yearns for. On the day of the Immortal Alliance meeting, Byuki single-handedly defeats everyone. This attracts countless fangirls, but Byuki coldly ignores them all. Just as Nyenyen comes down from the stage, she sees her Zizi surrounded by female cultivators, his brows furrowed. She directly calls out, Byuki. Hearing his beloved's voice, Byuki finally responds. Nyenyen, as if comforting him like when he was young, says, our Byuki has passed the second round too. So impressive. Byuki looks at her, his gaze focused and intense. At this moment, a pretty female cultivator approaches intimately and greets them. Hello, I'm Bullied. May I ask what your relationship is? Are you Dao companions? Just as Nyenyen is about to explain, Byuki suddenly embraces her and coldly tells the woman, he is naturally the one my heart yearns for. Jiang Nyenyen was stunned. She guessed her cub didn't want others bothering him, so he used her as a shield. She then smiled. I also cherish him. Hearing Nyenyen's words, Byuki's face unconsciously broke into a smile. Bullied was truly living up to her name. She was indeed shameless. Bullied said coquettishly, Big Sister is so beautiful. Indeed, only a fairy could match such an otherworldly man as Brother Een. The other day when you registered, I accidentally saw the name Een Byuki. It's truly a good name. Bullied then moved closer to Nyenyen and said, Sister, your makeup is so skillfully done. Unlike me, I don't even know how to apply makeup. Nyenyen's mouth twitched. So, she had encountered an ancient green tea bitch? Byuki directly blocked in front of Nyenyen. With a cold gaze, he said, he is naturally beautiful and needs no makeup. If only I had a Dao companion like Brother Een. Not only extremely handsome, but also incredibly strong. Before Bullied could finish, Byuki interrupted her. I am Nyenyen's. Byuki's face was already showing impatience. His expression seemed to say, why won't this fly-like woman buzzing in his ear just leave? Bullied seemed unprepared for his response. With a bashful face, she said, by the way, thanks to Brother Een for saving me earlier. You pushed me aside, otherwise I would have been knocked off the stage. Byuki mercilessly replied, I pushed you because you were in my way. Very annoying. If I wasn't afraid of Nyenyen misunderstanding, I wouldn't want to say a single word to this woman. Onlookers chuckled quietly. Bullied couldn't bear such humiliation. You're too much. She stomped her foot and ran away without looking back. Nyenyen, who was ready to roll up her sleeves and battle the green tea bitch, watched Bullied flee in panic. She seemed completely unnecessary. Byuki had resolved it himself. Soon it was time for the third round. One-on-one battles to determine rankings. A woman with a beautiful face, curved eyebrows, and a gentle smile appeared, like an exquisite fairy stepping out of a painting into the mortal world. The crowd couldn't help but gasp in admiration. Hearing the commotion, Nyenyen looked towards the stage. Indeed, it was Tang Moron. Nyenyen glanced at Byuki beside her. Byuki was staring intently at her. The competition had already begun. Nyenyen felt her face heat up. For some unknown reason, she asked, what do you think of the woman who just went on stage? Byuki glanced a few times before looking away, saying indifferently, just a flowery dress and legs. Not practical. I'm asking about her appearance. Of course she's beautiful. Indeed. Nyenyen slowly lowered her head. No one could escape the female lead's halo, nor break the irresistible force of the plot. Unexpectedly, Byuki slowly bent down, leaned close to her ear, and smilingly finished the sentence, but she still can't compare to even half of Nyenyen's beauty. You, what nonsense are you saying? Such a smooth talker. Nyenyen's little fist pounded on his chest. Byuki let her hit him. He held Nyenyen's small fists, gazing at her with deep affection. In my heart, you are the most beautiful. Soon, a new round of competition began. It was actually Byuki versus Tang Moro. Hearing this, Nyenyen suddenly looked up. What a coincidence. Nyenyen, I'm going up first, Byuki said to Nyenyen with a smile. If you can't win, don't be stubborn. Admit defeat when necessary. It's not shameful, Nyenyen advised. Although her cub was excellent, the opponent was the male lead after all. Nyenyen is worried about me. Nyenyen smiled and pinched his cheek. Who else would I worry about if not you? Byuki intimately nuzzled her soft palm and said, Don't worry, Nyenyen. I won't lose. Zhang Nyenyen didn't want to dampen her cub's confidence, so she went along with him. I know. Our Byuki is the best. Byuki's lips curved into a slight smile as he leaped onto the stage. Therefore, upon seeing the newcomer, he said disdainfully, It's such a waste of time to fight with a nobody like you. Draw your sword, Byuki said with a cold smile. This brother of his was truly spoiled and arrogant. The swords were unsheathed. Both sides engaged in battle. Zhang Nyenyen watched from below, her blood boiling with excitement. Cub, stab him there? The 40-meter-long blade. Mama has prepared it all for you. Go slice him. The spectators discussed among themselves. Hey, who do you think will win? Of course, it's the young master of Rimuli. He became famous in one battle at a young age. Even in the entire human realm, he's outstanding. But why does it look like the one called Byuki or something is gaining the upper hand? Let's make a bet. I'm betting on Byuki. 8 or 9 out of 10 people bet on Only a few bet on CI. Zhang Nyenyen was displeased. She couldn't stand others saying her cub wasn't good enough. She took out 1,000 spirit stones and placed them on the table. I bet on Byuki. The man quickly advised, Miss, that's too much. What if? Nyenyen interrupted him. There's no what if. I believe in him. At this moment, a clear male voice came. 10,000 spirit stones. Betting on Byuki. Zhang Nyenyen looked up. It was actually Zhao Anning. Fairy, long time no see. I didn't expect you to remember me. Nyenyen quickly advised. What are you doing? He's just trying to save face for his cub. Quickly take it back. 10,000 spirit stones is no small amount. But Zhao Anning smiled and said, Don't worry. Even if I lose, it's worth it to make the fairy happy. Besides, this amount is just the tip of the iceberg for me. Nyenyen asked, How have you been these years? Zhao Anning sighed. Just like that. After my father passed away, everything fell on me. I suddenly understood many things. Zhang Nyenyen was stunned. So he still died. Suddenly, there was a burst of exclamations. My God, how could Inci lose? I don't believe it. I can't believe it. Zhang Nyenyen quickly looked towards the stage. Zizi had won. On the stage, Inci's right arm was hit by an arrow, losing strength and kneeling on the ground. Inci, panting, said to Byuki very unwillingly, I admit you're very strong, but one day I will defeat you. Oh, is that so? Byuki looked down at Inci with a cold smile. I'll be waiting. After saying that, he turned and left. Zhang Nyenyen and others divided the winnings. She tried to return Zhao Anning's share. Keep it fairy. I don't lack money. Byuki came down from the stage. Seeing Zhao Anning standing beside Zhang Nyenyen, his face darkened. He quickly walked over. He hugged Nyenyen tightly, nuzzling his head in her embrace. Nyenyen, I won. I did great, right? Zhang Nyenyen laughed softly. Her cub was indeed the best. Nyenyen, the wound on my back is hurting again. His voice sounded a bit pitiful, now somewhat weak and soft. Nyenyen patted his head. We'll apply medicine when we get back tonight. Can you blow on it? Zhao Anning's mouth twitched. How could this kid still be so clingy after growing up? He felt he needed to remind the fairy. Don't you think you two are too intimate? Are we? Zhang Nyenyen looked puzzled. What's wrong with hugging my own cub? Men and women should keep their distance. Zhao Anning wanted to say more, but when he looked up, he met Byuki's icy gaze. A hint of blood red was visible in the corner of his eye. His expression was clearly a warning. She is mine. Next episode preview. Nyenyen confronts the female lead, the White Lotus. Tang Miru's sneak attack on Nyenyen fails. Instead, she poisons herself to frame Nyenyen. The final match, Nyenyen versus Tang Miru. She originally thought that facing Byuki was already an extremely fortunate event. But who knew her opponent would actually be Tang Miru? Tang Miru gently bowed to him. Any man who saw such a dazzling figure and a beautiful face would not have the heart to harm her. But Jiang Yinyan was a woman without that thing. So, sorry, she wouldn't pity this delicate flower. The two confronted each other. Yinyan's attack was as fierce as wind and thunder, directly striking at Tang Miru. Tang Miru instinctively raised her sword to block. Yinyan's sword twisted, making a clanging sound. It directly knocked Tang Miru's sword out of her hand. Then the sword blade was pressed against Tang Miru's neck. Yinyan had won. Just as Yinyan turned to leave the arena, the originally delicate and weak Tang Miru suddenly had a cold glint in her eyes. She picked up the peach blossom sword from the ground, spiritual energy surging, and stabbed towards Jiang Yinyan's back. Yinyan's reaction was extremely fast. How dare she sneak attack? She quickly turned around to counterattack. A cry of pain was heard. Tang Miru's shoulder was pierced by Jiang Yinyan's sword. Blood instantly soaked through Tang Miru's thin green gauze clothes. Two male voices called out Miru simultaneously. Tang Xuanye directly materialized spiritual power and struck towards Yinyan. Yinyan was stunned for a moment. At this time, with a boom, Byuki was seen standing in front of her, forcefully blocking the attack. Yinyan quickly asked Byuki, "Are you okay?" Byuki wiped away the blood from the corner of his mouth and said softly, "Yinyan, I'm fine." Tang Xuanye wasn't in a good state either, with blood also trickling from the corner of his mouth. On the other side, Jayu picked up Tang Miru, his face anxious. "Miru, how are you?" "Jayu, brother, it hurts so much," Tang Miru sobbed. "I seem to have been poisoned." After saying this, she fainted. Hearing this, Jayu looked at her shoulder. The wound had already turned black and purple. Jayu's eyes showed a gloomy color. He pointed at Yinyan. "You actually used poison." Yinyan immediately realized the seriousness of the situation. She explained, "She attacked me first, that's why I wounded her. But I absolutely did not use poison." "You still dare to quibble?" "You woman, looking gentle, but with such a vicious heart. Even if Miru was wrong, how could you put poison on your sword?" Yinyan loudly defended herself. "I didn't. If my sword was poisoned, the blood she first shed wouldn't have been bright red. That black blood only appeared just now." Jayu sneered. "Are you saying Miru poisoned herself to frame you? She's so innocent. How could she do such a thing? If anything happens to Miru today, you won't live to see tomorrow." Tang Xuanye coldly interrupted them. "First, take Miru to find the floating flower Saint Lord. We'll investigate the poisoning later. Take this woman and lock her in the water prison." Oh my, the female lead's halo is blinding. Everyone becomes stupid when encountering the female lead. But this isn't just stupidity anymore. This is simply a decrease in intelligence. Have they been possessed? Just as several cultivators were about to come forward to capture her, Byuki blocked in front of Yinyan. His eyes were blood red, and he said through gritted teeth, "Let's see who dares." Tang Miru thought she could get away with framing Yinyan, but she underestimated the floating flower Saint Lord, who directly exposed her lie. Tang Xuanye ordered the cultivators to capture Yinyan. Byuki directly stood in front of Yinyan to protect her. Seeing this, the cultivators said, "Please, Miss Jiang, come with us. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite." Yinyan had always been good-tempered, but this time she was also annoyed. "I've already said I didn't poison you. Why are you locking me in the water prison?" Yinyan then thought she couldn't confront them head-on. She quickly used Flying Uncle to send a message to Baichi Peak, asking for Zhifeng's help. At this moment, a long sword swiftly attacked Yinyan, but it was intercepted by someone's hand. Byuki stared intently at that cultivator. The cultivator was intimidated by the pressure released by Byuki and unconsciously withdrew his sword. Jiang Yinyan rushed over, looking at the wound on Byuki's palm. "Yinyan, I'm in pain." Byuki coughed a few times, his face seeming even paler. Jiang Yinyan's heart ached. She looked at Tang Xuanye angrily and said, "You're going too far." Tang Xuanye coldly said, "You hurt my sister. As her brother, I'm here to settle the score." The cultivators were about to come forward to restrain Jiang Yinyan. "Let's see who dares to touch my little sister." Accompanied by an angry roar, the few cultivators present were unexpectedly forced to take a step back. The newcomer was Jingfeng. Yinyan quickly said, "Big brother, they're bullying me." She tearfully explained the situation. "Don't worry, your big brother will stand up for you." He looked at his sword and said to Tang Xuanye, This sword was given by me. Bamboo and jade for the handle, spirit iron for the blade. If it touches any poison, it will turn black. But now it's still shiny. There's definitely no poison on that sword. Besides, since when does an outsider make decisions for our removed village? Although Tang Xuanye was the Wolf King of the North, he was still wary of Ji Yufeng. I didn't mean to give Miss Jiang a hard time. It's just that my sister is poisoned and unconscious, and the poisoner is unknown. At this moment, a cultivator rushed over and interrupted him. True, Lord Nanhua, Wolf King, please stop arguing. Miss Tang has woken up. The floating flower, Saint Lord asked me to inform you both that this matter has nothing to do with Miss Jiang. Ji Yufeng also realized he had misunderstood Nian and had to say goodbye. Nian was very grateful that Ji Yufeng came to help. She then took Buki to Xinyu for treatment. Tang Miru had already woken up. As soon as Tang Xuanye stepped into the Medicine King Pavilion, his eyes searched everywhere for Tang Miru's figure. He quickly hugged Tang Miru. Brother, I'm fine now. Tang Miru looked pitiful. Nian was very annoyed, as expected of the female lead, who wouldn't feel sorry seeing her like this. Zhang Nian silently rolled her eyes. Tang Xuanye asked, what exactly happened? Jieyu said it had nothing to do with him. There was a soul-devouring nail on the stage that hadn't been cleaned up. When Miru fell, her wound might have accidentally touched it, causing the poison to enter her body through the blood. Jieyu awkwardly looked at Zhang Nian, his tone unfriendly. But no matter what, you still hurt Miru. Don't you have anything to say? I should be the one complaining. You arrested and hurt my baby for no reason. And now you're trying to force me to apologize? You must be dreaming. Nian directly spread her hands. All I want to say is drink more hot water. Meanwhile, Xinyu was checking Buki's pulse. Nian quickly asked, how is he? Buki started coughing. Xinyu was exasperated. Weak my ass. He was silent for a moment, then said, his pulse is unstable. I'll prescribe some medicine for him to drink. After everything was resolved, Xinyu politely asked them to leave, saying he had something to tell Tang Miru privately. When everyone had left, Tang Miru spoke in a weak and delicate voice. Thank you for saving me today, Saint Lord. Xinyu just looked at her and sneered. Miss Tang, why did you smear poison on your wound and let others wrongly accuse Nian? Tang Miru actually has the ability of foresight. She even wanted to use others to kill Nian. Tang Miru's body was poisoned. Xinyu directly exposed her. Tang Miru was stunned. What are you saying, Saint Lord? I don't understand. Stop quibbling. You were poisoned by the soul-devouring nail. But there's poison on your hands. The poison on your wound wasn't accidentally contaminated. It was deliberately applied. Tang Miru knew she couldn't hide it anymore, so she directly admitted that she did it. She gently pulled Xunyu's sleeve. I did this for a reason. You can have jade dreams. I dreamed that one day in the future, the Mingqiao Academy will fully awaken. The human world will become hell, and Miss Jiang will be the head of Mingqiao Academy. That's why I wanted to eliminate her, to remove a hidden danger for the world. Why should I believe you? Xinyu shook off Tang Miru's hand. His face showed displeasure, but he was already somewhat doubtful inside. To prevent panic in the human world, the news that the Mingxia resentful species had descended was currently only known to the 4 major immortal sections. How did Tang Miru know about it? Tang Miru continued, I once dreamed that Miss Jiang helped you, Saint Lord, save a purple spirit essence flower in the Medicine King Valley. Is this true? Xinyu's face changed dramatically. What else do you know? Also, you helped her enter the Good Yuan array ceremony. She gently rubbed her forehead. The ability of Jade Dreams is limited. Miru doesn't know much. Xinyu's face was cold and solemn. Is it true? Tang Miru's gaze was very determined. Saint Lord, do you really not believe me? Xinyu was silent for a long time before speaking. Don't spread this for now. I'll also keep your poisoning and framing a secret. But Miss Jiang, she will... Xinyu interrupted her. We can't be sure if prophetic dreams will come true. I don't want Nian to be in a desperate situation. Let's end this here. You should rest well. Then he turned and left first. Tang Miru watched Xinyu's departing figure, feeling indignant. Why? Why in the prophetic dream? Xinyu originally liked her. Why is he speaking for Jiang Yinyan? Actually, she lied. She dreamed that the Mingxia resentful species would appear in the future, but she didn't know who it was. However, she dreamed that one day in the future, Jiang Yinyan would take away everything that originally belonged to her. Those were all things she had painstakingly obtained step by step. She wouldn't allow it. Jiang Nianyan Musti. Buki made many dishes for Nianyan. The two sat in the courtyard. Nyin directly opened a wine jar and poured a cup. Byuki's eyes moved. Nyin, are you going to drink? Just to celebrate. We both won the competition today. In this life, he hadn't drunk alcohol yet. She drank it all in one go. He wasn't originally a lover of alcohol, but this wine was mellow and delicious. He couldn't help but drink a bit more. After half a round of drinks, Nyin felt dizzy. She really didn't expect this wine to have such a strong after effect. Seeing Nyin in a slightly tipsy state, Byuki's red eyes darkened. Nyin, you're drunk. Nyin's head was spinning, but she still smiled and patted his face, saying, Who are you? You look quite handsome, though. Then am I more handsome, or is Byuki more handsome? He knew she was drunk, but he felt the urge to tease her. Nyin stared at him blankly for a while. Then her voice was exceptionally firm. No matter how handsome you are, you're not as handsome as my Byuki. My Byuki is the most handsome. Then who do you like more? Nyin answered without thinking. Of course it's Byuki. Looking at her foolish appearance, Byuki's eyes darkened, and he directly kissed her lips. He kissed Nyin until she was breathless before letting go. Byuki curved his lips and asked again, Between me and Byuki, who do you want to marry? Nyin thought for a moment. Marry you. Byuki's eyes darkened, with a hint of gloom. Why not Byuki? Don't you think he's the most handsome, and you like him the most? Nyin yawned sleepily. You don't understand, Byuki. He's my baby. You understand? So, he's my son. Byuki didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Nyin had already fallen asleep on the table, snoring loudly. Byuki reached out to brush Nyin's hair behind her ear. He whispered in her ear, What if Byuki doesn't want to be your son, but wants to be your husband? Next episode preview. Did Nyin sleep with her baby? The baby she raised with her own hands doesn't want to be her son, but wants to be her husband. Byuki's red lips whispered in Nyin's ear. Rather than finding other men, Nyin, don't you want to taste what it's like with the one you raised yourself? He softly called Nyin, but there was no response. Byuki was quite helpless. You actually drank too much and fell asleep. What should I do with you? He gently kissed Nyin's lips, savoring them lightly. Then Nyin was carried into the room by Byuki. Byuki took off his clothes and was about to help Nyin undress too. Nyin's face turned red. Byuki, what are you doing? Unexpectedly, Byuki directly pounced into Nyin's arms. Nyin, I want you. Nyin shyly refused repeatedly. Byuki, we can't do this. But Byuki directly and domineeringly kissed Nyin's cheek, leaving her nowhere to hide. She was extremely shy. The next moment, Nyin sat up straight in bed, breathing heavily. She couldn't believe she had such a dream. Before she could recover, she looked to the side. This glance startled her. She was shocked. Zizi was lying in the same bed with her. That wasn't a problem, but why was he shirtless? Was she still dreaming? Nyin's trembling hand slowly lifted the blanket and glanced at Byuki. He was completely naked, like a proud rooster. Jiang Nyin, you damned woman. Not only did you drink, but you also had drunken sex, and you even slept with the child you raised. How despicable and shameless. At this moment, Byuki propped himself up, looked at Nyin, and called her name. Nyin looked at the naked Byuki, her heart trembling. Byuki, did we last night? Byuki was stunned for a moment, then realized Nyin had misunderstood. He wasn't wearing clothes because Nyin had vomited on him. His smile deepened. Seeing Byuki not responding, Nyin called out again. Then she put on a tearful expression. Nyin, I'm not pure anymore. He spoke pitifully, as if he had suffered greatly last night. Last night, Nyin was very rough. Not only did you take liberties with me and touch me all over, but you also did even worse things to me. Nyin was thunderstruck, instantly petrified. Nyin quickly covered his mouth. Don't say any more. Let me calm down. Nyin's head was about to explode. This time she was really in trouble. What should she do? Byuki looked at her scratching her head and asked, Nyin, do you regret it? Do you think my face is very ugly? And my body? If you're ugly, then there's no one handsome in this world. Then is Nyin displeased with my weak body, thinking I'll be a burden to you? How could that be when I worry so much even if you just cough once? Byuki nodded and continued. Then does Nyin think I'm not good enough somewhere? No. In my heart, you're perfect everywhere. Hearing Nyin's answer, Byuki finally smiled. Then Nyin surely wouldn't take advantage of me and not take responsibility, right? Haha, Nyin has completely fallen into the trap. The woman, because she drank too much, mistakenly thought she had slept with a man she raised since childhood. Moreover, having raised him for so many years, she indeed couldn't bear to hand him over to someone else. At most, his status would change from son to boyfriend, but she still felt guilty. However, having slept with him, she had to take responsibility no matter what. Byuki looked at her and called out in a low, hoarse voice, "Nyin." Nyin took a deep breath. With a serious face, she said, "Don't worry, I'll take responsibility for you." Hearing Nyin's answer, Byuki's blood-red eyes instantly became deep and profound. He pounced on her, pinning her to the bed. "Nyin, I like you so much. I want you." Nyin's face turned red. Byuki, calm down. "I'm not ready yet." Although she had read countless books, when it came to real action, she still chickened out. Byuki looked at the person beneath him, Nyin, but he wants to do even more outrageous things with Nyin. At this moment, with a bang, the door was forcefully opened. The two looked towards the door. They saw Meichi standing dirty at the doorway, full of question marks. Zhang Nyin took advantage of Byuki's distraction to get up and push him away. "I am hungry. I'll go make breakfast now," Nyin said, and ran off, a blush appearing on her face. Byuki's red eyes stared at her retreating figure. Even the smile on his curved lips seemed to have faded a bit. Was he too hasty? It's okay. Even if Nyin doesn't like him now, she will like him in the future. After all, Nyin can only have him by her side, and Nyin can only be his. Nyin, who had fled the scene, stood in the courtyard going crazy. Her baby had learned bad things. Right off the bat, he said, "I want you." This progress was too fast. She had no idea how boyfriends and girlfriends should interact. At this time, there was a knock on the courtyard gate. It turned out the results of the Immortal Alliance meeting's written test were out. Moreover, they had received an invitation to enter the realm of illusions. She hadn't expected that the first place in this meeting would actually be her own baby. As for Tang Morong, because she was injured and poisoned, she couldn't participate in the subsequent written test and didn't even make it into the top 100. And isn't the biggest selling point of this book the chapters related to the realm of illusions? From here on, Tang Morong's 7 Dragon Balls were officially gathered. The author vividly described Tang Morong's entangled, life and death love and hate relationships with 7 men. Although they never went all the way, large sections of sensual descriptions and various heart-throbbing, embarrassing scenes covered almost 80% of the content in each chapter. But now Tang Morong can't even enter the realm of illusions. So how should the plot proceed from here? Well, let's take it one step at a time. In the blink of an eye, it was evening. Byuki stood at her door, begging to sleep together. He was directly rejected. She wasn't ready to sleep together yet. Byuki could only leave sheepishly. At this moment, the system popped up. Dear target person, Byuki's current favorability is 99. When favorability reaches 100, the binding with the system will be released. Does Ching still want to continue binding? As long as you accept the task of pursuing the female lead 7 men, you can continue to enjoy the resources and opportunities provided by the system. Nyin expressionlessly replied, "No need. I already have Byuki." The system was very confused. Then why did Ching reject Byuki's proposal? Nyin was shy and embarrassed. She just felt that they had just confirmed their relationship, and things were developing a bit too fast. She hadn't adapted yet. Being with Byuki, she actually didn't dislike it. Next episode preview. Tang Morong starts causing trouble. The woman had just confirmed her relationship with the cub she raised. The system wanted Nyin to accept the task of pursuing 7 men. Without even thinking, she directly refused, because she already had a husband's aura. Just as Nyin was about to rest, she was interrupted by a knock on the door. It turned out that the demon lord, Yi Ling Yuan, had been released by someone. They needed to bring everyone to investigate. Nyin suddenly realized that in the original book, Tang Morong had released the demon lord for her own selfish desires. Calculating the time, it should be tonight. Logically, she had nothing to do with this matter. She wanted to see what tricks Tang Morong was up to. Everyone was gathered at Rimu Village. The main hall of Jingu Peak was crowded with people, whispering and discussing. Byuki leaned on Nyin, looking weak and innocent. "I'm so sleepy." Nyin said gently, "Be good. Once that person is caught, we can go back." There was a commotion at the entrance. Ruxu hurriedly entered with the guards from the demon-seeking tower. when Shirley stepped forward and asked, Master Ian, is there any news from those chasing the demon lord? Ian Ruxa shook his head and said, no, he escaped. One of the guards, with a complex expression, stepped forward and said, True Lord, we know who released the demon lord. The guard looked around the crowd and directly pointed at Nyin, saying hatefully, it's her. The woman was truly caught in the crossfire while lying down. The demon lord was released, and they actually framed Nyin. Byuki's face instantly darkened, looking at the guard with unfriendly eyes. Nyin said sternly, I have no grudge against you. Why are you falsely accusing me? Again, with these framing tactics, Byuki directly sneered, convicting based on one-sided words. Is this how Rimu Village handles things? Of course not. The guard took out a Chinkoan bag from his bosom. He continued, this was found near the demon-seeking tower. The Chinkoan bag contains various precious herbs. The spiritual energy on them all comes from you, with both witness and physical evidence. What else is there to say? Jiang Yinyan looked at the Chinkoan bag in surprise. That was indeed hers. It was the one she gave to Xinyu yesterday. But why was it here now? This is indeed mine. But I gave it to the floating flower Saint Lord yesterday. I don't know why it appeared at the demon-seeking tower. Why don't we ask the master to confront him? Ian Rux's sighed. The divine oracle left yesterday. Rimu Village went down the mountain to save people. They won't be back for at least half a month. In that case, why not use soul-searching magic? Use spiritual power to explore my soul. Surely a stone soul won't lie. Byuki quickly stopped her. You can't do that. It's too dangerous. Jiang Yinyan continued, I'm not the one who released the demon lord, but all evidence points to me. To prove my innocence, we need to search souls. But if we're going to search, it should be both you and me. Nyin pointed directly at Tang Muru. An overwhelming anger surged from her heart. You want to frame me? Then you won't be able to stay out of this either. Tang Muru seemed frightened, timidly hiding behind Tang Xuanya. With slightly reddened eyes, she said, What are you doing, Miss Jiang? You released the demon lord. Why should I have my soul searched too? People discussed among themselves. This Miss Jiang must be crazy. Searching a living person's soul is one thing, but why drag Miss Tang into it? Tang Muru's eyes were filled with tears, her face showing confusion and innocence. She choked out, Why is Miss Jiang wrongly accusing me? My sword wound hasn't healed, and I'm only at the Golden Core stage. How could I have the ability to release the demon lord? Don't worry, everything will be fine. Tang Xuanye comforted Tang Muru, holding her to his chest. Then he coldly threatened Jiang Yinyan. If you slander Ro again, don't blame me for being impolite. A sudden laugh echoed in the hall. Tang Xuanye looked at Ian Byuki. What are you laughing at? Ian Byuki sneered. He laughed at everyone in the hall, for not a single person realized that the guard was under a charm spell. As soon as he finished speaking, Byuki materialized a sword. He stabbed at the guard who was pointing at Nyin. Could Nyin clear her name? The original female lead released the demon lord to frame Nyin. She used charm techniques to control the guard and accuse Nyin. Zizi had already seen through what was happening. He stabbed the guard with his sword. The guard's shoulder was pierced, and he trembled in pain. The guard seemed to regain consciousness and suddenly realized something. He abruptly pointed at Tang Muru. It's her. I remember now. She's the one who released the demon lord. Tang Muru seemed not to have expected things to develop this way. You're talking nonsense. Weren't you still near the demon tower? You picked up his Chinkoan bag. I don't have that thing. A familiar male voice came from outside. Well, I was wondering why Chingu Peak was so lively tonight. Everyone looked towards the door. Who else could it be but Xinyu? When Shirley glanced at him, Xinyu, didn't you go down the mountain? I was halfway down when I realized I was missing something. As he said this, Xinyu's gaze shifted. Looking at Tang Muru, he raised an eyebrow and said, Miss Tang, you stole my Chinkoan bag. It's time to return it, isn't it? Could it be that Miss Tang released the demon lord, stole the Chinkoan bag, and framed Miss Jiang? Tang Muru's face turned pale, knowing that her scheme had been exposed. She quickly knelt down. I'm sorry. I was the one who released the demon lord. I've let everyone down. Ro, how could you be so foolish? Tang Xuanye's usually expressionless face showed shock. Tang Muru had originally thought that by releasing the demon lord, he would become her servant. But this was extremely risky. She had planned to frame Jiang Yinyan, but didn't expect to be seen through by that venomous spirit. Qing a true lord, think of the deceased seniors. This matter can't be overlooked. When Shirley nodded, his cold voice rang out. According to sect rules, this crime requires the removal of cultivation and the punishment of bone-refining nails. males. Several cultivators walked towards Tang Miru. "Miss Tang, you've offended us. Step forward, and I'll see who dares to touch her." As Tang Miru was about to be seized, Jayu stepped forward to block them, his eyes showing a manic look. When Shirley directly knocked him down with one move, Tang Miru was extremely distressed. In the commotion, Tang Miru fell to the ground, her skirt flipping up. It revealed half of her lotus-like slender leg, with a small red lotus birthmark on it. Isn't this mark the same as the one on the nine-tailed fox's leg that appeared on the 10 Entrances 9 Mysteries mirror that day? Ian Ruaksu's eyes widened. The nine-tailed fox clan has an innate talent for charm. With a little learning, they can master charm techniques. Moreover, the mark on her leg is indeed that of the nine-tailed fox. Therefore, Miss Tang's cultivation cannot be removed. Why don't we let her cultivate for some time, then capture the demon lord again? That would balance out her merits and faults. For now, let's detain her and wait for further instructions. With the truth revealed, Nyenyen and Byuki returned to their own quarters. Byuki directly suggested living together with Nyenyen so they could look after each other. Nyenyen thought about it. Byuki was right. The plot had already deviated from its course. It would be safer to stay together. As Nyenyen was bathing, she pondered recent events. What exactly did Tang Miru want to do? Byuki called out to Nyenyen from behind the screen. Nyenyen quickly put on her clothes. Byuki hugged her from behind. He held her so tightly that she couldn't break free. In a low, hoarse voice, he said, "Let me help Nyenyen dress. Don't reject me, okay?" Jiang Nyenyen's face flushed red, her heart nearly jumping out of her chest. But she still maintained a bit of rationality. Turning around, she asked, "Is there a possibility that because you've lived with me since childhood, you've mistaken your dependence on me for love?" His crimson eyes stared at her, saying with utmost sincerity, "Nyenyen, I don't know why you would think that, but I'm very clear. My feelings for you are not dependence, but love between a man and a woman. Every moment, I want to hold you like this, kiss you, caress you. All these feelings were born because of you. Just thinking about you leaving me and being with another man drives me crazy with jealousy. Nyenyen, I love you. I've long been unable to live without you." Every word Byuki said struck her heart, being confessed to so passionately. How could she not be moved by such devoted love? Nyenyen was stunned by Byuki's confession. "Byuki, lower your head a bit. I can't reach you." Her face was full of shy desire. Byuki was stunned. Those crimson eyes were overflowing with desire and longing. Nyenyen wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed him. "Byuki, I'm yours. I always will be. Thank you for loving me. Maybe right now, my feelings don't match yours in intensity, but I'll gradually fall in love with you. Are you willing to wait for me?" Byuki was overjoyed. He had finally received Nyenyen's response. He would definitely not let her down. At this moment, the system popped up, saying, "Congratulations, host. Congratulations, host. The target's favorability has reached 100. Host has successfully passed the initial stage." Nyenyen suddenly realized that reaching 100% favorability meant being with Byuki. The rest of the plot depends on Qingqing's own efforts. The system will now unbind from you. Nyenyen was stunned. She wanted to say something, but the system had already disappeared. Byuki, seeing Nyenyen in a daze, quickly asked, "What's wrong?" Nyenyen sighed. "It's nothing. I just suddenly feel a bit tired." Afterwards, they went to rest. In a few days, they would participate in the Illusion Realm trial. 3 days later, a huge magic array was drawn in the center of the square. It was full of spiritual energy, creating a magnificent scene. Many disciples were already standing there. The peak masters of various peaks had also been waiting for a long time. The illusion realm was created from imagination. Inside, there were various beasts, all appearing according to the strength of those who entered the array. Within the realm, injuries wouldn't cause actual harm, only pain. Nyenyen glanced around, puzzled. Why was Tang Miru here? Wasn't she expelled? Jiang Nyenyen muttered to herself. Buji explained. Regarding the previous Demon Lord incident, rumors that Tang Miru is from the Nine-Tailed Fox clan have already spread throughout Rimu. Ian Ruaksa said that Tang Miru's cultivation is still shallow, so she should stay in town to cultivate further. Nyenyen thought to herself, participating in the trial together, I wonder what tricks Tang Miru will play this time. I need to be even more careful. Byuki looked at the array beneath his feet with curiosity. His eyes darted around and he thought to himself, this is not good. Ninian needed to leave quickly. He grabbed Zhang Ninian's hand and ran towards the town's exit. But they were still a step too late. A red light flashed, and 100 disciples disappeared before their eyes. All the peak masters were stunned. Everyone was participating in the illusion realm trial, who knew that the array wasn't for entering the illusion realm at all, but a teleportation array. By the time Buki realized something was wrong, it was already too late. A red light flashed, and 100 disciples disappeared before their eyes. This was a small town. The ancient Long Street market paved with bluestone was very lively. Suddenly, hundreds of people appeared out of thin air on the road, startling the passers-by. My goodness, it's magic. Could these be immortals from the heavens? The women were already stunned, as if seeing so many handsome people for the first time. Each one had an extraordinary aura, looking like immortals, very alluring. Even many men came to join the commotion. Buki stood still without a word, frowning as he looked at his surroundings. Suddenly, many pouches were thrown towards Buki. Look at that one. I've never seen such red copper before. He's truly handsome. Zhang Yinyan picked up a pouch and looked at it. It seemed that throwing pouches was their custom of expressing admiration. Buki's long black eyelashes fluttered for a moment. His tone was a bit low. Ninian, do you mind? What's there to mind? They're admiring you, Ninian said with a gentle smile. Buki turned his head and said, but none of them are as beautiful as Ninian. Ninian looked at Buki tenderly. This awkward child, if he wanted something, he should just say it directly, instead of beating around the bush to get her words. Noticing his expression was a bit off, she probed. How about I make one for you another day? Then I'll trouble Ninian, he answered promptly. An old man, trembling and leaning on a cane, wobbled over. Oh, looking at your attire, are you cultivators? Indeed we are, Ninian replied. The old man was very excited. He grabbed Ninian's hand, his eyes full of expectation. Immortals, have you come specifically to drive out the demons from Archinga town? Archinga town is too remote. We've been plagued by demons for decades, and no one has paid attention. A few years ago, the town raised money to invite some Taoist priests, but they died at the hands of that demon. After that, no one was willing to come. I never expected so many immortals to arrive today. Ninian was puzzled. If it's so dangerous here, why don't you move away? The old man shook his head. When we wanted to leave, we found that the area within 100 miles was shrouded in resentful energy. Once you enter this place, unless you break through the resentful energy, you can't leave at all. Originally, they were participating in the illusion realm trial, but who knew they would be teleported to another place? Easy to enter, but difficult to leave. Everyone panicked. This wasn't the illusion realm after all. Siefan looked at the burning talisman in his hand and muttered, this really doesn't seem to be an illusion. Siefan stepped back in fear, his voice trembling. If we get killed by that monster here, we'll really die, won't we? No, he wants to go back. Buki glanced at him and coldly snorted. What a coward. What are you saying? Siefan rushed over, grabbing Ci's collar and shouting. Ci shook him off impatiently. Don't touch me with your dirty hands. Let me ask you, why do you practice cultivation? Of course, it's for immortality, to ascend and live as long as the heavens. Ci retorted, frog in a well. Cultivators wield their swords to punish evil and eliminate wickedness. It's to protect those around us and safeguard all living beings. If everyone were as cowardly as you, what would be the point of cultivation? Since we're here, why not help the townspeople eliminate that demon before leaving? For some reason, when Ci said this, a strong holy light appeared behind him, almost blinding Ninian's eyes. This must be the male protagonist's halo. Siefan glared at Ci hatefully before walking in another direction. Others also felt like retreating. I want to leave too. A trial is one thing, but risking our lives is unnecessary. All right, stop arguing, Ninian persuaded. It's getting dark. Let's find a place to stay first. Ninian looked at the old man. Is there a larger inn nearby? Yes, immortals, please follow me. The old man nodded and led the way. It was getting dark, and everything was quiet. The town chief led everyone to an inn. Tang Mu covered her nose and said, why is it so dark here? And there's a stench like something's been burned. Don't be afraid, Miss Tang. We'll all protect you, everyone said eagerly. Thank you all, Tang Muru responded with a smile. All the rooms here are like this. When we first came, many rooms were burned. We've renovated since then. This inn is already the best in town. Immortals, please make do for a few days. The old man shook his head, leaning on his cane, and advised, "Immortals, it's best not to wander around at night. That demon likes to come out after dark. It targets people who are alone. For decades, countless people have fallen victim." Yin Yin, about to go upstairs, frowned upon hearing this. Could it be a skin-peeling demon? Have you ever seen a man seriously apply medicine while flirting with a girl? Well, everyone was teleported to a small town with no way out. The old man warned not to go out alone at night, as there would be skin-peeling ghosts. Yin Yin thanked the old man for his advice and entered the room to rest. Yin Yin had finished bathing and was sitting on the bed drying her hair. Looking at Byuki, she was very puzzled. "Byuki, what's that?" Byuki was holding a small porcelain bottle. A pair of cool hands was undoing his clothes. He suddenly dodged. "Byuki, what are you doing?" He explained with an innocent look. "I just wanted to apply medicine for Yin Yin. Earlier today, when the array suddenly appeared in Town, didn't Yin Yin hurt her waist in the fall?" Yin Yin's face turned red as she refused. "No need. I don't think it hurts much anymore. If Yin Yin doesn't apply medicine, what if it gets worse?" Yin Yin reached out. "Then give me the medicine. I'll do it myself." Byuki's eyes darkened. Why was Yin Yin still so distant with him? They were already partners. Why couldn't she rely on him a little more? Hearing what Byuki said, Yin Yin also knew she was somewhat wrong. She shouldn't always reject him. Yin Yin loosened her waist clothes, saying shyly, "Byuki, you can help me apply the medicine." At this, Byuki's face immediately lit up with joy. He applied the cool ointment to Yin Yin's delicate skin. It tickled Yin Yin, making her retreat repeatedly. Byuki directly pulled Yin Yin's slender waist into his arms. "Don't move, or the medicine will be wasted. Be good, Yin Yin. Just bear with it a little longer, okay?" After finishing everything, he walked towards the door. "Yin Yin, rest first. I need to go out for a while." "So late? What are you going out for?" Byuki said, "I heard that demon likes to come out at night. I'm going to meet it. They say women are made of water. But would you like a skin-peeling ghost?" After helping Yin Yin apply the ointment, Byuki prepared to go out, to see what kind of creature this demon really was. Hearing this, Yin Yin immediately wanted to go with Byuki. Without waiting for his objection, she continued, "I'm worried about you going out alone." The bustling daytime streets were now empty. Walking on the street, a gust of cold wind blew by. He instinctively hugged the sword at his waist. What a bunch of cowards. They agreed to come out together at night to exorcise the demon, but in the end, they all backed out. "Never mind, after I kill that demon, I'll return to the Sunset Palace. Let those cowards see what true courage is." Suddenly, a whimpering sound came. Getting closer, it was a woman crying. He frowned. Feeling cautious, he kept some distance and asked, "What are you, a woman, doing outside so late at night instead of sleeping?" The woman was still crying, looking delicate and weak. She looked up at him, revealing a face as beautiful as a lotus emerging from water. He was startled. Miss Tang Miru pitifully rubbed her ankle, seemingly afraid he would leave her behind. "I was originally with others to exorcise the demon, but I accidentally got separated and sprained my ankle. Can you carry me back? I'm scared alone. Women are so troublesome." Ingzi, seeing it was one of their own, dismissed his suspicions. But he couldn't just leave her there. "Come on then." Tang Miru giggled and thanked him. "Senior Ning, thank you. You're so kind." Ingzi carried her out of the alley onto the main street, but he felt increasingly uneasy. The person on his back was getting lighter and lighter. Her whole body became wet and sticky, as if she had just run out of water. He hadn't had much contact with women, only hearing his father say that women were made of water. Tang Miru suddenly interrupted his thoughts. "Signorine, do you think I'm beautiful?" Ingzi grumbled. "Don't all women look the same? What's there to be beautiful or not? Is that so? Then let me show you my true appearance." As she spoke, Ingzi heard the sound of flesh tearing from behind. What the hell is this? It's too scary. He saw the skin-peeling ghost rip off the human skin mask on its face. Damn, what kind of ghost is this? Ingzi violently threw the thing on his back away. If nothing else, it was too ugly. What kind of demon dares to come out and harm people? Ingzi steadied himself and thrust his sword. The demon wasn't angered. Still smiling, it said, "Good child, why are you so rude to me? Let's just give you a kiss, okay? I'll kiss your big ghost head." Incite shouted, infusing spiritual power into his sword, slicing off the female ghost's hair in one stroke. The demon seemed enraged and lunged at Incite. Its speed was terrifyingly fast, reaching him in an instant. Incite's heart pounded wildly, blood rushing to his head. "This time I'm really done for." In a flash, a long sword came whistling through the air. The demon in front let out a piercing scream. It was stabbed in the chest by the sword, pinned to the wall. Incite hadn't expected that it was Buki who saved him. The demon was quite powerful. It pulled the sword out of its chest and turned to flee. Zhang Yinyan, who arrived shortly after, helped Ingzi up from the ground and asked, "Are you all right? You go back first. I'll go help Buki." Zhang Yinyan let go of him and turned to leave. Just as the demon was about to dive into the water, he flipped over and leaped in front of the demon. The sword swinging towards it suddenly hesitated. The female ghost had transformed into Yinyan's appearance. That face, with 90% similarity, was enough to make him unable to strike. In that moment of hesitation, the demon had already slipped past and disappeared into the water without a trace. Yin and Ingzi also rushed over upon hearing the commotion. The poisonous skin-peeling ghost escaped. That thing can freely conceal its aura and change its appearance. It's neither demon nor monster. I've never seen anything like it before. That's not a demon or a monster. A male voice came from the mist. The skin-peeling ghost was too scary, and it even transformed into Yin's appearance. It dove into the water and escaped. At this moment, a man's voice came. "Who's there?" Buki shouted sternly, standing in front of Yin. "Don't attack. I'm on your side. My name is Songshur. I'm also one of the cultivators entering the illusion realm for trials. What you were chasing earlier wasn't a demon or monster. It's the soul of a dead person. Some of them haven't entered the underworld and continue to wander in the mortal world, causing harm as vengeful spirits." "How do you know this?" "I just like to read about strange occurrences." Yin said, "Since the spirit has escaped, let's head back to the inn first." Ingzi blocked Buki and said awkwardly, "Thanks for saving me earlier. About what happened at the Immortal Alliance meeting, I apologize." Buki interrupted him directly. "What exactly do you want to say? I don't know why, but you give me the feeling of an older brother. We even have the same surname. Why don't I acknowledge you as my brother?" Buki clicked his tongue, his face expressionless. "Young Master Yin's status is noble, a heaven's chosen one adored by thousands. I'm not worthy." Seeing Buki's cold and distant attitude, Ci somehow felt choked up. "Actually, I originally had a brother." Hearing this, Buki instantly held his breath. "Brother? Laughable. Where did you get a brother from? That useless brother of yours was born with an evil fate. He's long dead. Shut up. I won't let you talk about him like that." Ci's voice was filled with tears and anger. Buki's hand, hidden in his sleeve, slowly clenched and trembled. "Why are you putting on this act here?" Yin held Buki's hand, her eyes feeling a bit sour. She turned to Ingzi and said, "This matter can't be forced. Let it go, Buki. Let's leave." She knew Buki harbored resentment and didn't want any more entanglements with them, which was understandable. Then, unnoticed by anyone, a mark of the red spider lily slowly appeared on Buki's neck. "What's wrong with Buki?" The skin-peeling ghost had escaped, so they could only return for now. Back at the inn, Yin was already drowsy with teary eyes. Buki, standing behind her, suddenly wrapped his arm around Yin's waist. He pushed her down onto the bed. "Buki, what's wrong with you?" She looked up and saw the pattern on Buki's neck. She tore open Buki's clothes and stared in disbelief at the red spider lily. What's going on?" Buki's state was clearly not right. Could it be related to this pattern? Buki suddenly grabbed Yin's wrist. He bit down on Yin's neck. Yin's voice trembled. "Let go, you're going to bite it off. Were you reincarnated as a puppy?" When Buki finally released her, there was a clear blood mark on her neck. He seemed to have calmed down. His breathing gradually became even. He buried his head in her neck and fell asleep in Yin's arms. The red spider lily on his skin had disappeared. This ungrateful one, doing bad things and then not caring about it. Yin settled Buki down. That pattern looked very ominous. It actually needed to consume blood to disappear. The next morning, Yin was still asleep. Buki's trembling hand caressed her neck. Looking at the bite mark on her snow-white neck, his expression was complex. His red eyes darkened. From childhood until now, this was the first time such a thing had happened. He had lost control and hurt Yin. He truly deserved to die. Yin opened her sleepy eyes. She had just woken up, her tone soft, making one want to bully her. "Yin, I'm sorry. I lost control last night. What happened to you yesterday? And that pattern on your chest, why have I never seen it before?" Last night, he wasn't clear-headed. He only felt that the fragrance emanating from Yin's body made him feel at ease and fascinated. That scent tempted him to kiss her. "Yin, I'm sorry. It's my fault you got hurt. It's okay, Buki. I don't blame you. The wound isn't deep. It will heal quickly." He thought to himself that when they got back, he should ask Shinyu if Byuki was sick. This man had gone mad, tearing and biting his woman. The next day when they woke up, the man was very apologetic. "Does it still hurt here, Yin?" He gently licked and kissed the wound. "It doesn't hurt anymore." Yin smiled and pushed Byuki away. "Be good and go downstairs to eat." Downstairs at the inn, cultivators were discussing. Those dozens of cultivators who were clamoring to leave yesterday were all dead. Dozens of skinless corpses were curled up in the river. They had all been fished out this morning. Could it be fake? Yin recalled the original story. This wasn't right. The originally 18+ Illusion Realm drama had suddenly been altered. They had inexplicably arrived in such a ghostly place. As she was thinking, she caught sight of Song Sure walking over. "Miss Jiang, may I sit here?" "I don't mind." Jiang Yin hugged Byuki protectively, like a dog guarding its food. "What do you want?" Song Sure looked embarrassed. "Why so nervous? I'm not going to fight you for him. Regarding the ghost from last night, I've found some clues. I suddenly remembered a book of strange tales I read before. The book recorded an ancient race called the AI people. They like cool and damp places, are good at swimming. Their skin is an excellent treasure. It can not only be eaten to nourish meridians and increase cultivation, but can also be used for disguise and concealing one's aura. Byuki thought, could the ghost that escaped last night be an AI person? Then if the AI people are so powerful, how did this place become a town inhabited by humans? That's because the AI have a fatal weakness. They fear spirit fire. Song Sure continued, combining yesterday's observations. Thinking carefully, I've deduced some things. 100 years ago, the AI people live here. Later, someone coveted their skin, so they found ways to use fire to kill them, strip off their skin and flesh, to eat or wear. Many cultivators who heard this vomited out the breakfast they had just eaten. Song Sure took out some talisman papers from his bosom. Based on my memory, I've drawn the talismans from the book. Whether it's a living AI or a ghost, these talismans can be used to find their general direction. The urgent task now is to find them and exterminate them with fire talismans. Only then can the resentful energy dissipate. Otherwise, we'll be trapped here forever. Song Sure took out the talisman papers. The papers trembled in the air for a moment. Then suddenly, it stuck to Yin's body. In an instant, everyone in the inn turned their gaze towards her, showing affection to the young lady. Some cultivators near her took a few steps back. Byuki's lips pressed together, coldly spitting out 2 words to Song Sure. Explain yourself. Song Sure looked at the talisman in confusion. The talisman is definitely not wrong. I remember clearly. It was drawn exactly according to the method in the ancient text. At this moment, Tang Miru cried out, "Ah, the person who switched the magic array and brought us here. Could it be Miss Jiang?" Byuki's face was cold, his eyes glaring angrily at her. "If you can't speak properly, then don't speak at all. No one's treating you like a mute." Tang Miru looked very innocent. Song Sure said the talisman wasn't wrong. If she's not an AI, then what is she? You're still protecting her. And the talisman stuck to Jiang Yin's body. Are you going to let all of us die here with her? She started crying pitifully. This crying stirred up the already low atmosphere. That's right, I've always felt something was off about her. Therefore, he said, is there some misunderstanding here? Miss Jiang doesn't seem like that kind of person. But the cultivators wouldn't listen. They just angrily said, Byuki, hand her over. Byuki held Jiang Yin in his arms, feeling her dependence on him. His thin lips curved into a slight smile. All of you here combined can't beat me. If you don't believe it, you can try. Song Shure's talisman paper stuck to Yin's body. Everyone was shocked and frightened. They still wanted to harm Yin. Byuki hugged Yin, protecting her in his arms. You dare try to touch Yin? You're all no match for me combined. The cultivators became a bit cowardly. After all, what Byuki said was true. Not just anyone could be the champion of the Immortal Alliance Conference. Tang Miru continued crying. Byuki, how can you be so unreasonable? Don't call me that. We're not close. Byuki gave her no face at all. Song Sure scratched his ear, casually interrupting her. Miss Tang, can you stop crying? It's annoying me. He stood up and said he knew what was going on. Yesterday, he and Miss Jiang had tracked the AI together. Perhaps Miss Jiang had been contaminated by their aura, which is why the talisman mistakenly reacted to her. He then took out another talisman paper, strengthening its spiritual power. As soon as he finished speaking, the talisman paper flew towards the outside of the inn. Follow it! Everyone hurriedly ran out. Byuki, let's follow them and take a look. Byuki grabbed Yin's hand. Those people just misunderstood you like that. You still want to go help them? They were just anxious. But how are you so sure that I'm definitely innocent? Byuki nestled into Nyenyen's embrace and said, whether you're right or wrong, good or bad, I'll protect you unconditionally. Jiang Nyenyen's heart warmed. Aren't you worried about what others will think of you? They're all accusing you of being unreasonable. Why care about those irrelevant people? What reason? You are my reason. Damn it. She was seduced by her own cub again. The talisman paper led everyone to the riverside. Under the sunlight, large clusters of golden water lilies were blooming beautifully. Songshur clenched his fist and said, it seems all the AI spirits have gathered at the bottom of the river. Please, everyone, prepare your fire talismans. Let's form an array together. All right, everyone responded. Their fingers moved, ready to activate the fire talismans. These water lilies are actually green. That's quite novel. Tang Miru stood by the riverside, wanting to pick one. Don't pick it. Songshur opened his mouth to stop her, but it was already too late. Tang Miru held the spirit lily in her hand, looking at Songshur with a confused face. She asked, what's wrong? This flower is specifically used to seal the AI. Now that you destroyed the seal, all the AI in the box will swarm out immediately. Tang Miru was so frightened that she threw away the green box in her hand. How could this happen? At this moment, the entire clear sky instantly turned into a dark, blood-red color. Resentful energy surrounded them. Those lush green water lilies transformed into one spirit after another. These spirits moved extremely fast, rushing straight towards them. They flailed their arms uncontrollably, as if trying to tear through the sky. The fire talismans were limited, and there wasn't enough time to make more. Many cultivators lost their composure and rushed over. Seeing this scene, the two of them were also greatly alarmed. Nyenyen, be careful. There are quite a few of these spirits. He handed the fire talismans to Nyenyen, telling her to keep them for self-defense. Suddenly, a spirit grabbed Tang Miru's ankle. It gripped tightly, its sharp nails digging into her flesh. She couldn't break free. Having always been treated as a favored child, she had never faced the fear of death before. For a moment, she cried out without any composure. The original female lead, Tang Miru, was just a jinx. She broke the water lily that sealed the AI, releasing all the AI. And now she was caught by the ankle by an AI. Nearby cultivators quickly turned back to cut off that hand for her. Miss Tang, pull yourself together. Stop crying. We need to leave quickly. Unexpectedly, a spirit's hand directly pierced through that cultivator's chest, killing him instantly. Another male cultivator came to grab her. Miss Tang, hurry up and leave. If we don't go now, it'll be too late. No, I don't want to go. Save him. He got hurt because of me. I want to take him with us. Jiang Nyenyen, who had witnessed the whole process, silently pulled Byuki, trying to stay away from Tang Miru. Don't get close to the female lead. It brings bad luck. With her constitution, whoever helps her will suffer misfortune. Looking at the spirits before him, Byuki said in a deep voice, those spirits' resentful energy is too strong. With our current cultivation level, we might not be able to kill them. We can't confront them head on. I'll handle this. Nyenyen, you all find a chance to leave first. Nyenyen's eyes reddened a bit. No, it's too dangerous for you to stay alone. Nyenyen, listen to me. Hurry and go, Byuki. I didn't raise you so that when danger comes, you'd use your life to protect me. I raised you so we could fight side by side. Byuki, don't leave me alone. Byuki was stunned. He looked at Nyenyen in a daze. In this world, what he wanted to protect, what he wanted, was only her. Byuki wiped away the tears on Nyenyen's face. The two looked at each other and smiled. They quickly threw themselves into the battle. Many male cultivators looked at Nyenyen with admiration in their eyes. They never thought there could be such a righteous and brave woman in this world. She was simply enchanting. Meanwhile, Tang Miru was still sobbing softly. She looked up, seeing how everyone was looking at Jiang Nyenyen. Her heart skipped a beat. She lowered her head, her eyes darkening. She was just too scared. That's why Jiang Nyenyen stole the spotlight. Repelling the spirits wasn't something only Jiang Nyenyen could do. She could do it too. Thinking this, Tang Miru broke free from the male cultivator's embrace. She picked up her sword and ran back. Nyenyen was nervously engaged in battle, completely unaware of someone flying towards her from behind. Another spirit attacked. Jiang Nyenyen dodged it, but she collided with Tang Miru behind her. and Tang Miru's sword accidentally cut Jiang Yinyan's arm. Blood splattered. Tang Miru, that big troublemaker. Yinyan's hand was cut by her. The spirits are extremely sensitive to the smell of blood. In an instant, they all rushed towards Jiang Yinyan. Byuki's pupils suddenly contracted. He swiftly rushed over to her. He grabbed Yinyan, shouting to incite to catch Yinyan. However, Byuki was surrounded by the AI. Byuki didn't care, but Yinyan's heart suddenly contracted sharply. It hurt so much she couldn't breathe. Seeing her like this, Byuki's lips curved slightly. He was clearly smiling, but his eyes held some sorrow. He really loved seeing her worry about him like this. At this moment, all the spirits and Byuki sank into the water together. Yinyan was already breaking down. Let me go. I want to save Byuki. Byuki, how could you do this? Come back. Tang Miru was also stunned. She only wanted to kill the AI. She didn't mean to hurt him. Yinyan broke free from C's grasp. She directly approached Tang Miru. With a crisp slap, she gave Tang Miru a hard slap across the face. Tang Miru held her face, looking at Yinyan in disbelief. She seemed not to have expected her to hit her. Yinyan was furious. I hit you because you deserved it. If it weren't for your stupidity, Byuki wouldn't have been dragged into the river, his fate unknown. She then grabbed Tang Miru. If you hadn't picked that water lily out of boredom, the spirits wouldn't have gone berserk. If it weren't for protecting you, those cultivators wouldn't have died. If you hadn't stupidly turned back, Brother wouldn't have been swallowed by the spirits. Tang Miru couldn't hold back and started crying again. I was just trying to help. Why are you being so mean to me? I didn't expect things to turn out like this. You think you're the only one who's upset? Do you know how upset I am? The cultivators tried to mediate. That's right. Miss Tang didn't mean it. What's done is done. Yinyan gritted her teeth and said, Cry, cry. All you do is cry. Do you want me to throw you down there too? Let you taste what it's like to be torn apart by the AI. Byuki fell into the water along with the AI. Yinyan was completely devastated. In an instant, a loud bang was heard. Yinyan had already jumped into the water. Because Byuki was her person, even if he died, he would be her ghost. He was someone who hated the cold so much, she couldn't let him stay alone in this icy water. No matter what, she had to bring him back. She cast a water-repelling spell on herself and actively searched for Byuki's figure in the water. She saw an AI appear. The AI would be attracted by the smell of blood. Following, it would surely lead her to Byuki. The spirits around Byuki turned into streaks of black gas, entering his body. It didn't seem like they were eroding his body, but rather being devoured by him. Finally, as the last streak of black gas disappeared, Yinyan swam over quickly. He lay there quietly. There was a dark iron sword on his body, not his original one. It was bright red, with the blade covered in dense black runes. The hilt was inlaid with an unknown stone, emitting an eerie light. Yinyan touched his face, her tears mixing with the river water. Byuki, I've come to take you home. I'm sorry for making you wait here alone for so long. But just as she embraced him, the person in her arms suddenly opened his eyes. He suddenly gripped Yinyan's neck tightly. The force instantly cut off all air. Byuki, are you trying to kill me? Byuki pulled Yinyan close and bit her neck. It hurts, doesn't it? This state is exactly the same as that night at the inn. What's going on? Byuki, let go quickly. I can't breathe. Yinyan pushed him away. Byuki's eyes were blood red. He wrote, I want to write Jiang. Yinyan smiled bitterly. Using her last bit of strength, she kissed Byuki's lips. A tear slid down his cheek and fell between his lips. Please, wake up quickly. Byuki trembled slightly. Suddenly he collapsed, instantly awake. My Yinyan. Yinyan dove into the water to search for Byuki. As soon as Byuki opened his eyes, he pulled Yinyan close and bit her. Yinyan used her last bit of strength to kiss Byuki. Finally, she awakened his consciousness. She weakly leaned into Byuki's embrace. Seeing the bite mark on Yinyan's neck, Byuki thought to himself that he had done it again, just like last time. Had he lost control again? I'm sorry, Yinyan. I lost consciousness just now. I didn't mean to hurt you. Just as he was about to reach out and touch the bite mark on Yinyan's neck, she instinctively avoided his touch. Byuki was stunned. Was Yinyan afraid of him? Byuki tightly embraced Yinyan. Yinyan, please don't be afraid of me. Because of my evil fate, others have feared me since I was young. They bullied me and stayed away from me. Only Yinyan treated me sincerely. Byuki cried like a child. He panicked he wasn't a monster. He didn't know why he had become like this. Don't be afraid of me. Don't abandon me. Yinyan, I can't live without you. Yinyan's head was buzzing. She shook her head and saw. her little one crying heartbrokenly. Byuki, what's wrong with you? Byuki lowered his eyes. Nyin, do you also think I'm a monster? Are you afraid of me and don't want me anymore? Nyin was speechless. She had just been a bit dizzy from lack of air and hadn't heard clearly what he said. How could you think that? It's ridiculous. She gently wiped away Byuki's tears. If I really thought you were a monster and didn't want you, I wouldn't have risked jumping into the river to find you. Silly Byuki hugged Nyin, whimpering. Already used to his quick mood changes, she said, all right. The water barrier is still effective. Let's go up first. Nyin rescued Byuki. The two emerged from underwater. The river water had been stirred up by Byuki's uncontrolled spiritual power. Even the cultivators on the shore were splashed and couldn't open their eyes. It was a mess. They used spells to block the fierce energy. What's going on? Songshur said in a deep voice. Someone's cultivation level has advanced. Tang Miru was knocked back several steps by the force. She fell to the ground and coughed up blood. She fainted. The people standing on the shore were also shocked. The cultivators were inexplicably excited. Look, they're coming out of the river. Byuki carried Nyin and landed on the shore. No one dared to mock him anymore. The looks they gave him were all of awe. Byuki had just put Nyin down. Incite pounced and hugged Byuki's waist. Brother Ian, you're all right? That's really great. Byuki was exasperated. I have mysophobia. Stay away from me. Songshur raised an eyebrow and said, you actually came out alive. Your cultivation even advanced 2 levels. It seems misfortune turned into a blessing. He glanced at the sword in Byuki's hand and asked, did you find this sword at the bottom of the river? Byuki flicked his wrist, and the red iron sword disappeared. Everyone was dumbfounded. Even Songshur was shocked. Since ancient times, weapons have had spirits, but they were all man-made. There had never been a weapon formed from one's own soul power. But Byuki had done it. So what happened to you at the bottom of the river? And how did those spirits disappear? Songshur's gaze towards Byuki was full of scrutiny. Nyin instinctively felt that if she spoke about what she saw and heard at the river bottom, it would be disadvantageous to Byuki. So she kept quiet. Byuki said some things were inconvenient to disclose. The great evil wasn't completely eliminated. One escaped. The cultivators were shocked. What escaped? Where did it go? All right. Let's deal with that spirit first. We'll discuss other matters after we leave. Incy came out to mediate. Songshur, why don't you use your talisman to track it again? Songshur activated the talisman paper. Everyone followed suit. At this moment, a cultivator asked, what about Miss Tang? Byuki and Nyin emerged from the water together. Everyone looked at them with awe. There was no more mockery like before. Byuki felt some indescribable emotions welling up in his heart. Everyone was about to chase after the escaped spirit. A cultivator pointed at the unconscious Tang Miru on the ground. What about Miss Tang? Incy shook his head. Anyway, I'm not carrying her. Whoever wants to can do it. Byuki said, Nyin, let's follow them too. Wait a moment, Jiang. Nyin suddenly hugged Byuki. She kissed his cheek. Thank you. Thank you for risking your life to save me. Thank you for still being by my side. Not long ago, Nyin thought they would be separated by life and death. But now she was safe and sound by his side. This contrast made her especially cherish their current time together. Byuki lowered his head. His cold lips kissed her lips. Then he traced down her lower lip to her neck. In a hoarse voice, he said, for saving my life, how does Nyin plan to repay me? Nyin hasn't thought of a way? Then let me suggest one. For example, repaying a life-saving debt with your body. Ninyin's cheeks flushed red as she replied, I promise you. Meanwhile, the talisman paper stopped in front of a small courtyard gate. Incy took the lead and walked forward. With a creaking sound, the wooden door was pushed open. A foul odor assaulted their noses. AI suddenly grabbed Incy's neck. AI giggled. Oh my, you've come. Nyin and Byuki were shocked. Isn't this the skin-peeling ghost we met on the street that night? At this moment, and said, where's Ruxu? Call him out quickly. Otherwise, I'll peel the skin off his precious son. Everyone was stunned. Ruxu? Is she still trying to seek revenge on sect leader Nyin? Nyin spoke up. Miss, could there be some misunderstanding between you and sect leader Nyin? 100 years ago, Ruxu led people to exterminate my entire clan. You immortal cultivators are all beasts in human skin, your hands stained with the blood of innocence. How could this possibly be a misunderstanding? Inci didn't believe it. My father is the leader of Rimu's sect. He would never do such a thing. Shut your mouth. AI raged and choked Inci until his face turned blue. Ling roared. He and the others behind him started fighting. The scene was chaotic. Isn't Ruxu supposed to be righteous in in the immortal world? I've killed so many people. Why hasn't he come to find me yet? Everyone was badly hurt by AI. She kept shouting for Ruxu to come out. If you don't come out, I'll make your son join you in death. The son pays for the father's debt. As she spoke, she reached for incite. A crimson long sword pierced through AI's chest. AI fell to the ground with a thud. Incite, having had a brush with death, was stunned. Ruxu, you despicable wretch. I curse you to die a horrible death and fall into the 18 levels of hell. With a trembling finger, she pointed at the person in front. Xiao Song sure watched everything unfold, his thoughts unclear. He turned and said, AI has been completely eliminated. The resentment in Xinghe town will dissipate. We can leave now. Incite quickly said, I want to clarify something. Can we use soul searching on her? I don't believe my father would exterminate an entire clan. I want to clear my father's name. Songshur said, to use soul searching, one's cultivation must be at least at the void refinement stage. Among us, only Buki is at the void refinement stage or above. Incite felt discouraged. Forget it. He hates me so much, he probably won't help. Incite slowly composed himself and walked out with his head down. Stop. Didn't you want to search the soul? Where are you going? Incite exclaimed joyfully and threw himself into his arms. Get off. You're so noisy. Buki impatiently pushed him away. His cold fingertip lightly touched the forehead of the corpse. After a moment of dizziness, the past truths flooded into his mind. Long, long ago, the water in Xinghe town was clear and cool. A child crouched by the water, curled up into a ball. He was the town's only orphan, called Xiao. His mother died in childbirth. We AI people fear fire the most. How could they be so careless? Such a big family, over a dozen lives lost just like that. Could it be that he brought death upon them? Passers-by pointed and gossiped, but dared not approach, fearing they might be tainted by something unclean. Xiaoyer's frail reflection wavered in the water. Everyone hates me. Why am I even alive in this world? Just then, a warm female voice called out, Is Xiaoyer crying in secret again? Incite couldn't believe his father would do such a heinous act. He had thought Buki wouldn't help. Who knew such a pleasant surprise would come so suddenly? Buki sat down and began the soul search. All the memories instantly flooded his mind. A woman's voice came. Is Xiaoyer crying in secret again? Xiaoyer looked up. It was Shin Susu from the neighboring courtyard. Pretty kind-hearted and capable, everyone liked her. Xiaoyer's quiet sobs turned into loud wails, filled with unspeakable grievances. He threw himself into her arms. Everyone bullies me. They bully me for having no parents. I'm not a harbinger of disaster. I didn't cause my parents' death. Shin Susu asked, Who hurt your face? It was Zhang Dahu and Li Gooden. They made me crawl through their legs and bark like a dog. They even kicked my head. Them again? Tomorrow I'll have a good talk with their mothers. Make them discipline their children properly. Shin Susu was a bit angry. Her beautiful brows furrowed slightly. Xiaoyer lowered his head sadly. Sister Su, am I really useless? Every time I'm bullied, I'm too cowardly to fight back. I can only hide and cry alone. It's not like that. Xiaoyer, do you know that kindness is harder than bravery? Because bravery is a momentary impulse, while kindness is often difficult. Shin Susu smiled gently and said softly, If possible, I'd rather you become a kind person in the future. Xiaoyer beamed with joy. Thank you, Sister Su. Is Xiaoyer hungry from crying? Here, take this to eat. A big chicken leg. Xiaoyer's eyes lit up. Sister Su, you're the only one in town who's kind to me. When I grow up, I'll definitely repay you. Shin Susu ruffled his hair. What repayment? I don't care about those things. Eat up. From then on, Shin Susu had a little shadow. Wherever she went, Xiaoyer followed. Xiaoyer was mocked and despised by everyone. Only Shin Susu was kind to him. People in town warned her, He's clinging to you. You're in danger. Be careful. He might bring you misfortune. Shin Susu laughed. That won't happen. Our Xiaoyer is a good boy. As they spent time together, their bond grew stronger, like real siblings. Unfortunately, good times didn't last. A group of cultivators invaded Xinghe town, killing and skinning people mercilessly. The AI people fled everywhere, but couldn't escape their fate. In the reed marsh, Shin Susu led Xiaoyer as they hid. Sister Su, I can't run anymore. Hurried footsteps could be heard from behind. Xiaoyer, stay in the water and don't make a sound. No matter what you hear, don't come out. Understand? Sister Su. Xiaoyer's eyes were already blurred with tears. He shook his head painfully. Don't leave. Be a good boy and listen, Xiaoyer. She pushed him into the water. The people behind also found her. In Ruxu ordered his men to skin Shinsusu alive. Skinning someone alive? Even beasts wouldn't do such a thing. How can you bring yourselves to do this? Shinsusu cried out in pain. You dare call yourselves human? We are so noble. Mocking laughter accompanied Shinsusu's painful cries. Zhao Shang hesitated. In Ruxu, if we do this and the sect leader or other sects find out, what then? In Rux's gaze was sharp. Then we just won't let the news spread. These AI people are enough for us to advance directly to the great perfection stage. But if we split it among so many people, we might get very little. Why don't we kill them all and burn down Qingatown? Then no one will know about this. Don't worry. Once I cultivate successfully and become the sect leader, you'll get your share of benefits. Besides, those who came with us are only at the golden core stage. One nascent soul stage cultivator can easily kill them. All right, I'll do as you say. Set fire to burn this place down. Then check if there are any survivors. The fierce fire spread throughout Qingatown, also burning Shinsusu's entire body. Have you ever seen such cruel cultivators? Skinning people alive just to increase their cultivation. Xiaoyu, pushed into the water by Shinsusu, escaped death. The fierce fire spread throughout Qingatown, also burning Shinsusu's entire body. Only when he could no longer hear any sound did Xiaoyu emerge from the water, crawling shakily towards Shinsusu on the shore. He hugged Shinsusu's body. Even though it was a bloody mess, he wasn't afraid. She was still breathing faintly. She was still waiting for him. Xiaoyu, run quickly. Sister Su, don't die. I can't live without you. His tears rolled down his face, dripping onto Shinsusu's face. He wanted to pat her head, to comfort her as she had done for him in the past. But those hands, withered, charred, and scarred, finally fell. Sister Su, Xiaoyu's cry tore through the sky. The memory ended. Everyone was silent. Only a deathly stillness remained. Ninian spoke. Is this what the AI people experienced? How tragic. Inzi almost went crazy, shouting in anger. Why did this happen? Why did my father do such a thing? Why did it have to be my father? Inzi suddenly sat down on the ground, crying loudly. How can I face my father in the future? I hate him so much. I hate him for doing such a thing. He deserves to die. You reap what you sow, but I can't bear to see him die. Why did it have to be my father? A cultivator asked. What should we do now? Go back to Rimu and expose Ruxu. Songshur coldly said. Are you joking? Going back now would be walking into a trap. Someone like Ruxu wouldn't allow anyone who knows this secret to live in this world. So, I've already sealed Shinsusu's memories in a recording stone. Let's leave this place first, then make Ruxu's crimes public. Let the various sects punish such a scum. Everyone nodded in agreement. Byuki suddenly called out to Songshur. Wait, there's something I want to confirm. Byuki lowered his eyelashes with a cold, distant tone. His thin lips parted slightly. Should I call you Songshur, Xinyu, or Xiaoyu?